headed for the doghouse?
All of a sudden, his son came up behind us and scared Nala.
It's the same story, just one story is more elaborate than the other.
No, madam.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Alberto Nunez is suing Lourdes Rodriguez and her husband Joe Rivera for damages after the couple's dog bit his 10-year-old son.
Order. All rise. This is case number 21 on the calendar in the matter of Nunez versus Rodriguez Rivera.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat.
Mr. Nunez, your son was bitten by their dog.
Correct.
You were not present when that happened?
Was not.
So only he can tell me what happened.
Yes.
Would you like to come up here? Tell me your first name.
Samuel.
Do you remember when this happened?
I think it was in December.
In December?
Yes.
Great. Tell me where you were going on that date in December.
I was walking home.
From where?
School.
You were walking by yourself?
Yes.
And tell me...
Across the street, and a lady was coming up towards me with a dog and baby stroller. And
So she had a baby stroller. That was this lady here?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was getting closer, the dog was like jumping around and making growling noises, and she was saying, "Don't do it to the dog." And while I...
She said, don't do it?
Yes.
Was she holding on to the leash?
Yeah, she had the leash on her hand while she was holding on to the string.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, that is false.
Just a second, don't interrupt. Go ahead.
And while I passed her, the dog went around and behind her and bit me on the leg.
Okay. And what did you do? Did you go home?
Yes.
Did the lady say anything to you?
No.
Did you say anything to the lady?
No.
Did you say your dog bit me?
No.
How did you find her if you hadn't said anything to her?
It was my dad.
Your dad found her?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to the doctor?
Yes.
And you had to get a shot?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me where they gave you the shot.
On both arms and both legs.
And did you have to go back for shots more than once or just once?
I would have, but they found the dog.
So you got 4 shots that day?
Yes.
Do you remember what the dog looked like?
Yes, it was white and fluffy. It's like medium size.
Had you ever seen this lady or the dog before?
No.
Okay. You can go back there. So you can stand next to your dad in case I have any other questions for you. Mr. Nunez.
The next day after, there was another incident, and then that individual we had spoken to that was in search of that dog also realized that it was the exact same dog that had bitten him. We received a phone call that following day on December 9th, and she informed us of it.
Who called you?
The individual from the Pflugerville Police Department made the phone call to me that next day.
That they had believed...
They did find that dog due to the fact of another individual being bitten.
By that dog?
By the same dog, yes.
On what date was the other individual?
That was on December 9th, in which that second incident occurred.
And the incident involving your son was on the 8th?
On the 8th, the day before. And then we've got documents of both of those incidents.
I'd like to see both.
Your Honor, that was hearsay. That was actually, my mom was walking the dog, and the dog, there was a pit bull unleashed.
Listen to me. Don't interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
This is both.
Both.
Unless
yes,
you,
the first is
if
ourselves.
I ask you a question,
and the second is
but
that
don't tell me
individual
what happened with
day.
your mom and what's hearsay.
Sure.
I actually know what hearsay is.
You got it.
We're speaking of the dog that's bitten 2 different individuals, not who was walking it the second day.
Your Honor, may I point out that on that record of my mother-in-law with the second incident, it shows that the other dog was not on a leash and was coming towards my mother-in-law and our dog.
And we actually called 911 that day. My mother did.
Just a second. Were either one of you there?
No.
No, ma'am.
Now I'll hear you. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it was December 8th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The school was being...
Sorry, did she say Sunday?
Just listen to me. Don't interrupt her.
Okay.
It was December 8th. It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was going down Bishop's Gate. I saw that Samuel was coming, so my sister's very afraid of dogs, so I know to be respectful of others who are walking near us. And so I stopped to the left side with my dog on my left and on my right hand with the stroller. I directed Samuel to go around us and...
Just a second. Why would you do that? No.
I didn't direct him.
Listen to me.
I just stood there.
And you have to know, you're talking to somebody who's had dogs for 50 years and who walks dog on a leash when I'm outside. Why would you direct or suggest that Sammy go around the dog?
I directed him by standing there. I didn't tell him verbally. I just stood there to the side of him so he knew that he could pass
Don't tell me what he knew. He passed you.
Yes, he did.
And?
And we walked, we kept walking, and then my dog started barking as we had already walked off.
And?
And I turned around, and my dog was just barking, and...
You know, when you start to say things that you've been practicing in your mind to say, but as you actually articulate them, they sound stupid.
Okay.
Okay? They sound stupid. Then you're sort of getting away from yourself. And that's what's happening to you right now. Because now you were turning around because the dog started to bark. And as you were turning around, you were going to tell me what happened? As you were turning around?
As I turned around, I pulled my dog back, and Samuel just walked off. He didn't react. He didn't tell me anything. So I didn't assume anything, and I carried on with my walk. And that's what happened.
Well, it's kind of...
I don't want to hear you, sir. You weren't there.
Okay.
I don't want to hear anything that you have to say.
May I share the photos of his...
No, you may not say anything until I ask you a question.
And, Your Honor,
I didn't
pictures.
ask you a question. Okay, let me tell you, Miss Rodriguez, why when you start to tell a lie, I always have a saying, and that saying is, if you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. I'm going to read what you swore to in your answer.
Okay.
On the day of the incident, I was walking Nala and pushing Alana in her stroller. As plaintiff's son approached, I pulled Nala's leash and kept her on my left side.
Yes.
I directed him to pass on my right side. Once he passed, I started walking again. All of a sudden, scared Nala. When he startled us, Nala reacted to protect us. Now, what part of that didn't you put in? You want to look at it? You signed it. You swore to it.
No, I have a copy, Your Honor.
Wait, just a second. What part of that didn't you tell me?
I just gave you the simple...
No, that was very
story.
specific. I was swinging to the right. I was swinging to the left. I turned around. He walked away. What part of all that my dog was protecting us because he came up from behind, didn't... You see, when you have a truthful story, you don't have to have a good memory. You don't want to read this again, and you don't want me to read it again, right?
Sure,
okay.
Yes.
Were you cited once or twice for your dog biting somebody within a week's period?
Once.
Once. And that was this child?
Yeah, the one.
That was this
the one
child?
incident, yes, ma'am.
And what happened with the other incident?
Nothing came to be of it. The dog was not on a leash, so it was really nothing to...
Can I see the bite, please? You have photographs and the medical bills.
Yes. Added with those are the requests in regards to the payment made by the insurance company, the request for those dollar amounts being returned to them.
Actually, the amount that...
With the wrong name.
Like 10.
Correct.
Your insurance covered most of that?
The out-of-pocket for the medical
Yes.
was just a hair over the $1,340 from work.
No.
Medical alone.
I just want what you were out of pocket on your medical. That doesn't mean
Your
that
Honor,
I'm discounting.
I have the email where he sent us the out-of-pocket expenses that he...
I'd like to see it.
Of us.
Here's a copy of the two medical records.
Just a second. His out-of-pocket was about $300. Now, this is my problem with you, Ms. Rodriguez. First of all, because you either lied in your deposition or you lied when you told me your story. I'm not so offended by that, although I should be, for the court, be offended by that. What I'm offended by for this young man is, I believe you sensed in your dog that your dog was uncomfortable as Sammy was approaching. Either you knew that because your dog had been aggressive before,
no.
Or you knew that because your dog, at that moment, was agitated. Now, how long have you had the dog?
5 years.
Well, then maybe it's because when you have a dog for 5 years, and I assume that this is your first baby?
Yes.
And the dog has been your baby for 5 years, and you have a brand new baby that the dog is not happy. Been there, done that. And the dog's personality changes. The dog's personality changes because the dog is jealous of the new baby in the house. And I can guarantee you that you've seen signs of that change of behavior since your new baby came home. Whatever it is, when Sammy did not double back to a barking dog, that's not the kind of child this is. And if you sense that your dog was agitated, you cross the street. You don't direct the child to walk around you. You get your baby buggy and your dog and you move them out of harm's way.
I understand.
Well, I'm glad you understand. I'm glad you understand. Do you still have the dog?
Yes, I do.
Well, you just be careful of that baby. I'm just telling you.
Oh, I have pictures here of my dog
Listen.
and the baby, and she absolutely loves...
Do you know how many pictures I've seen?
Well, I just like to say that my dog's not a dangerous dog.
Your dog bit the child for no reason.
I disagree.
There was a reason.
Listen, so far your wife hasn't given me a reason. She's given 2 different stories, but not one reason.
It's the same story, just one story is more elaborate than the other.
No, madam. There are 2 different stories, 2 entirely different stories. And fortunately, this is on tape,
yes.
So the 10 million people who are going to watch this case will see that you told 2 distinct stories, but neither one of them suggest that this child did anything wrong.
True stories are on the documents.
I didn't ask you anything. Do I look like I need your help?
No, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
The exterminator's bill. That way the axe would have fallen on the throat where it properly belonged.
I'm not that shrewd, but...
You're not that shrewd.
You know,
well, if you were that shrewd, you'd have a TV program.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alberto Nunez says Lourdes Rodriguez and her husband, Joe Rivera, owe for damages after their dog bit his son.
So I'm just telling you that one day, out of the blue, your daughter is going to be crawling on the ground, and Nala, Nola, whatever the dog's name is going to say, you know what, it was much better around here before I had competition. And then you're going to say, well, she never did that before. But the truth is, you've been forewarned. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, we're happy that anyone and everyone who was here today got to hear the truth.
I think it was pretty clear that the plaintiff was actually after cash in his pocket.
That's insulting.
I think it just comes down to how much money you want in your pocket. And
I mean, individuals who step away from their responsibilities.
do you want to make it for profit, or do you want to make, it just depends what you want to make of it, but
That's just an insult.
nothing against the boy. He's a good boy.
Just do the right thing.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter.
Barbara Fusick is suing her neighbor, Robert Milner, for an insurance deductible as a result of a fence falling on her car.
How long, Miss Fusick, have you and the defendant been neighbors?
Probably 6 or 7 years.
Is that right, sir?
No, like 13 years.
That you've been neighbors?
Yes.
So, Mr. Milner, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
You had to have your house fumigated.
Yes.
And when you had your house fumigated, the company that you hired tented your house.
Yes.
But the company that you hired did something that was somehow negligent. And as a result of that, 2 things happened. A fence was damaged that separated your property, and when this tent flopped on the fence hit her car, and her car was damaged. Miss Fusick had insurance, and her car insurance paid to fix your car, with the exception of a $500 deductible.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And that's what she is suing for.
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's what the case is about. The ball is in your court. You explain to me why you think that you're not responsible to pay her $500 deductible.
Well, to start off is that they unscrewed a lot of stuff from the fence to make it fall over. They told me this themselves. They put the fence back up. Instead of calling me and telling me they couldn't do that, they went ahead and unscrewed these pieces.
You hired this company.
Yes, I did.
And the company that you hired
Yes.
was on your property.
Yes.
Doing work for you when the damage occurred to her car.
Yes. I wasn't there at the time, but...
well, that doesn't make any
Yeah, I know.
difference, whether you were there at the time or not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I didn't know she sent me a letter saying she wanted me to pay her.
Now you know. You knew you weren't coming here because I was preparing a brisket. You knew you were coming here because she was suing you.
No, she sent me a letter with the wrong name.
Like,
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Barbara Fusick says neighbor Robert Milner owes for an insurance deductible after a fence fell on her car.
the fact that could you have gone through your homeowner's insurance to pay for the damage to her car? Perhaps. Did she discuss that with you, whether or not you would like to go through your homeowner's insurance to pay for the damage? Did she discuss that with you?
It's been a year since this has happened. Most likely, yes, she did discuss this. And also the termite company has insurance, and the fumigating company would take care of this. And 6, 7 months went by, and she contacted me again and said they were not paying her. So I called my insurance and told them, ask them what was going on, and they get back to me kind of deal. And then I called the fumigation company. They get back to me kind of deal. And then it still didn't get worked out. I assume that my insurance or the fumigation company's insurance would pay for this, and that didn't happen.
The problem is, if you look at it this way, Mr. Milner, she had no input into the selection of a company that you contracted with to do work on your property.
Yes.
What you are suggesting to me is that they did their job in a very negligent fashion.
Yes,
that's what you're suggesting to me. Well, but she had no input in the selection of these people.
Yes.
That was your job. So that she has 2 options. Actually 3. She can say to you, you use your homeowner's insurance, and I expect to be made 100% whole. And if what you say to me, Mr. Milner, is that she did suggest that to you, but you chose not to do that, because I don't hear that as soon as it happened, you said, I'll go through my homeowners, you know, and call them, and they'll come and take a look at your car, because after all, this is my responsibility.
Yes. Well, Your Honor, I never got to see the damage of the car.
Do you have photographs of the car? Maybe.
Yes, to see damage of the car. She turned it in before she turned in the insurance.
Listen to me.
I know.
An insurance company...
I know the fence that caused it, and it was due to me getting it exterminated. But, you know, I tried to get this fence fixed before I tented. I asked Barbara for her landlord's phone number, and she said she didn't know her landlord's phone number, and she's lived there for over 13 years. And I asked again, wait a minute, I asked again, and then she gave me her email number. I wanted to get this fence fixed. It's not my fence, it's not on my property, and I can show you pictures of it. I know it was caused by the extermination company.
That is correct.
Yes.
It was caused by a company that you selected that you now say was negligent in what they did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So her property was damaged,
Yes.
not as a result of anything that she did.
Okay.
If there is any culpability, it would be the tenting company, the exterminator, and yours.
Yes. And
you chose, by not going through your homeowner's insurance, to put her in a position of having to sue a strange company, or if you knew that there was damage to the car and your car insurance, you have a deductible $500. I'm taking $500 off the exterminator's bill. You could have done that. That way she would have been whole, and the axe would have fallen on the throat where it properly belonged, but you would have had to do it.
Yes. I'm not that shrewd, but...
You're not that shrewd.
You know,
well,
she did have a conversation.
If you were that shrewd, you'd have a TV program.
She did have a conversation with me about... She came over to my house and she said, it's no longer the insurance company. She quit. It's just me and you. And I said, I still have an insurance company, and let me get a hold of them. And then, in the meantime, I got turned around and I got filed... She filed a complaint. But before that, I didn't know. She sent me a letter asking me that, but I didn't know she sent me a letter saying she wanted me to pay her.
Well, now we know. Now you know. You knew you weren't coming here because I was preparing a brisket. You knew you were coming here because she was suing you.
No, but see, she sent me a letter with the wrong name.
Like, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500.
She never asked me for the $500.
Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He said that he would be losing his home. I happen to keep cash in my safe.
You believe that you owe her some money.
I'm a little confused.
Get unnervous.
Judge Judy.
I heard the fence behind me fall.
She taped a note to my fence.
I ran out.
It said, call me, Barbara.
And I actually helped heave it, tried to heave it up.
Make sure your insurance company pays
I said, I've got a problem here, I need to pay for this.
the deductible.
He called somebody on the phone and said, we're not liable.
A big Rottweiler, once it becomes testy, you don't want to have it around anymore.
A new home for a problem dog.
You were selling a Rottweiler.
She had become disobedient toward my wife.
A little aggressive.
Yes.
And the buyer.
The defendant comes to you and says, I'll give you $300 for the dog.
Kept in the dark.
Did he explain to you he was selling the dog because it had become aggressive?
No, not like that. I couldn't even get in contact with him anymore.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Philip Taylor is suing Dwayne Gray for the value of 2 Rottweiler puppies.
Order. All rise.
And of Taylor versus Gray.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Taylor, you were selling a Rottweiler.
That's correct.
Rottweiler that was 18 months old, a year and a half old. A Rottweiler for which you had no papers.
Correct.
Who did you buy the dog from?
I bought the dog from one of my wife's classmates.
And he had no papers for that dog because the one or both of the parents didn't have papers, were not registered with the American Kennel Club.
That's correct.
Okay, so you have actually no idea whether they're purebred Rottweilers or not because there are no papers to prove that.
Correct.
Good. So did you buy the dog as a puppy?
Yes.
Why were you selling it?
I was selling Ebony because...
Don't look over there.
Okay.
Why were you selling? You bought the dog as a puppy.
Yes.
By the way, how much did you or your wife pay for the dog?
We paid $400 for Ebony.
Is that your only dog?
Yes.
Now tell me why you were selling it.
We were selling Ebony because she had become disobedient toward my wife.
A little aggressive.
Yes.
So you were selling an aggressive dog. I'm just following this, Mr. Taylor. There's a reason for this. So you were selling a dog for which you paid $400 as a puppy. And as we all know, puppies are a more valuable commodity than adult dogs because people want puppies so that they can have a natural thing, especially if you're going to buy a puppy, a dog, rather than rescue a dog, you get a puppy. So now, a year and a half later, you're selling a dog that you paid $400 for that has become aggressive, and you're selling the dog, and you wanted, according to you, $800 for the dog. So twice as much as what you paid for it. Now, it's been devalued as a result of 2 things. Its age and the fact that it has become so aggressive towards your wife, because most of the time, if you have a puppy, even if it becomes a little bit testy, you say, oh, but it's my testy and I love it. A big Rottweiler, once it becomes testy, you don't want to have it around anymore. So you were selling this dog and you wanted twice as much money. The defendant comes to you and says, you know what? I like the dog. I breed dogs. I'll give you $300 for the dog. That's what he offered you for the dog. According to you, you said, I'm not going to take that. And then, according to you, you say he said to you, well, I'll give you $300 and I'll give you 2 puppies from a litter and the pick of litter from the first litter that they have because I'm going to breed Ebony, your dog, with my Rottweiler. And that's what this case is about. You're suing him for $1,600 that was aggressive. And he says, no way. I gave him $300 for the dog and offered him a puppy from the next litter if he wanted a puppy from the next litter. So you actually bred the dogs, which I think is probably a stupid thing to do, because if you have a dog, did he explain to you he was selling the dog because it had become aggressive?
No, not like that.
Is it an aggressive dog?
No, ma'am.
Not. So it was just aggressive in their home.
Exactly.
So the dog clearly, maybe it's a female dog, so maybe it liked him, didn't like the competition of the wife. You never know. You know, dogs are like people.
Yeah.
They really are like people. But the dog is fine in your home.
It was fine in my home, yes, ma'am.
Great. So you bred the 2 dogs, even though one didn't have papers and yours did.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I know.
Because then you have to sell those puppies without papers.
Right.
By the way, why would you do that?
Well, it's a hobby of mine.
Okay. So how much did you sell the 7 puppy or whatever number of puppies that you actually sold? How much did you sell them for?
Well, y'all know what happened was I didn't even get a chance to sell them because during the time of all this with Mr. Taylor, my mother had cancer and she took sick, so I had to alleviate anything that was, you know, at the time that was in the way of that. So what I did was I did Rottweiler for only $200, and because, like I said, they're older, and I gave away it was a package deal. It was a deal that I had to, the guy that bought him, he lived in Waco. I sold it on Craigslist. And after that, he took, and I'm like, he knew what was going on with me, so he took the dogs to his home. And he only gave me 200. And I only sold one puppy. And the rest of them I ended up having to give away to friends and relatives and neighbors that was around me.
Well, if you gave them away, Mr. Gray, why didn't you give 2 to the plaintiff?
I couldn't even get in contact with him anymore. He got upset with me because I wouldn't, he changed. I mean, his kind of just started changing.
Just a second. You had promised him, according to you, 1 puppy from the litter.
Yes, ma'am.
When was the litter born?
The litter was born in January.
And when did you notify him that the litter was...
In January. We stayed in contact with each other. I never went away from him, anything like that.
So you notified him in January?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I want you to tell me what you offered him in January.
In February, because they were still going. In February, I told him, because he was so nonchalant about it and didn't think he wanted the puppy anymore, I said, well, you can just still come get a puppy if you want. You can come get a female puppy. And that's when his countenance changed.
What did he want?
He wanted 2 puppies. I was like, that's nonsense. We didn't agree to that. I tell her, if I would agree to that, I wouldn't have been out of my mind. I didn't agree to that.
Okay, so 1 puppy. You bought him 1 puppy from this litter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, I want you to tell me, Mr. Taylor, where does that come to $1,600?
So, first of all,
Just tell me where 2 puppies comes to $1,600, is my question.
Ebony comes from a good bloodline. She's very healthy. Her mom was very healthy, so there's value in her history.
There's no value in her history. She's not an AKC registered puppy, and you paid $400 for her. I want you to tell me where $1,600 comes from.
Again.
Just a second. Even if I would believe your story that he paid you $300 for Ebony and promised you 2 puppies, I still want you to tell me, if I believe that, where you get $1,600 from.
Ebony... I had a lot of time and money invested in Ebony. Ebony was very healthy, and she was, I was working on getting her service dog certification, which she would have had a certification.
Are you out of your mind, Mr. Taylor?
No, I'm not, ma'am.
You just told me that you were getting rid of the dog because the dog had become aggressive towards your wife. And you want to get this dog certified as a service dog for somebody who is incapacitated? What, are you out of your mind?
She was not aggressive towards my wife. She was disobedient.
Yeah, okay, great. Keep moving.
So...
Keep moving. I'm not buying. So keep moving. Come up with a better story.
Continues in a moment.
Where do you get $1,600 from? You paid $400 for your dog that you subsequently sold for $300. As far as I'm concerned, that was a dog that you put an ad and say, I'm looking for a good home for my 18-month-old Rottweiler.
And later today...
You say she was hired to be your publicist.
Correct.
How much were you going to pay her?
We weren't. This was totally a pro bono.
That's not pro bono.
Well, no. Agreed.
Listen to me. I don't believe you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Philip Taylor says Dwayne Gray owes for the value of 2 Rottweiler puppies.
Now, where do you get $1,600 from?
Rottweilers bring that price, ma'am, for puppies.
Okay. You paid $400 for your dog.
Yes.
That you subsequently sold for $300. That's a difference of $100. That's my rudimentary math, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So your dog was devalued. As far as I'm concerned, that was a dog that you put an ad and say, I'm looking for a good home for my 18-month-old Rottweiler. Instead, you got $300 for the dog. But Mr. Gray says he did, in fact, promise you a puppy. $300 and 1 puppy. So you paid $400 for your puppy, and that's what you're going to get, $400. Case is over. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
This is a fair one.
It was not. I was remorse when I figured out that he was not going to honor the original agreement.
Get it in writing. Get it in writing.
Like the shyster said, get everything in writing.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bashir versus Fischetti. Step forward.
Julianne Bashir is suing her former business associate, Christine Fischetti, for unpaid wages, harassment, and for ruining her business.
A little confusing, so I'm going to try to see if I get it right. The defendant hired you to do some work for her on a magazine?
Yes, Your Honor.
On a magazine that she was creating?
Well, it originally started that she was...
I'm talking about at the beginning. She hired you to work on a magazine?
No, not in the start. The magazine was not in the equation from the beginning. I was hired to do flyers and promotional social work for Mrs. Fischetti.
Flyers and promotional social work for what?
Her management company. She managed artists, and it was to basically talk about what her service was, what she offered, what she did.
Okay. So far, is that correct?
So far,
So far. And then it morphed into something else?
Yes.
It morphed into a magazine that had its basis in the work that she did?
Yes.
No. Publicist.
Tending to create a magazine.
She offered to make a magazine.
No.
I wasn't intending, no.
So you had no intention of doing a magazine. So you hired her just to be a publicist for the work that you do. You manage artists.
Correct.
What kind of artists?
Musicians, entertainers, to help build my brand.
As an agent?
As a consultant.
A consultant to do what?
To help artists that, pro bono, to help them get ahead and be heard.
How?
Because I have connections.
From what?
From the movie industry, the music industry, the radio, FM radio.
How many clients do you have?
I had a lot of them until I was sabotaged.
How many clients did you have?
I would say 300 in total I have helped.
Oh, and is that how you make your living?
No, I do pro bono work, so it's not how I make
what?
a living. For the artists.
How do you make a living?
My husband.
So you do not have any income outside of your husband's income?
Besides, I'm a victim of domestic violence, and I get disability.
Okay. What this case is about from your end is for money that she owes you for work that she did. Did you have a written contract with her?
No, it was a verbal.
So you didn't have a written, the answer
and
is no.
And it's an email where she promised to pay me for the work.
Okay. Well, but this doesn't say how much. This doesn't say when. There's no indication here. So this is not a contract.
Well, no, because I trusted what she was saying.
Trust.
So
Listen, a contract need not be in writing. A contract can be oral.
Okay.
But a contract has to have its terms with specificity if you wish to have it enforced. Now I would like to know what and when and what were the terms of your alleged oral contract.
Okay. She presented herself to me as a company. That means she was a registered company, okay? She also presented herself as being
I don't care how she
trademarked.
presented herself. That's your perception. I
Okay.
want to know what the contract was.
The agreement was that she would pay me for the marketing material that I did for her and her signed artist that she told me she had, which I did.
How much?
$60 a flyer.
And how many flyers did you do?
There's about 10
Not
or
about.
11.
This is court.
10 or 11.
Well, 10 or 11 is not an answer.
10.
So that's $600. Did she pay you any of that money?
No.
Okay.
She always had an excuse why she couldn't.
Just a second. That's the work you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. You say she was pay her.
We weren't. This was totally a pro bono.
That's not pro bono.
Well,
no,
it was totally agreed.
Listen to me. Listen
She
to
knew
me.
from the beginning.
Listen to me. I don't believe you.
Okay.
I don't believe you.
Well, if I'm not making any money, how would I pay her?
Just a second. That would be your problem. If she reached out to you and she's a stranger, and you may have this interest in the music industry and don't have to be employed because somebody else supports, because your husband supports you and you get disability, that has nothing to do with her. So if you tell me, if you want me to believe...
I do, Your Honor.
Do you? Then you owe her $600. I don't believe you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She's on there with a group of people telling them about how I'm wanted by the FBI for identity theft.
Where did you get that information?
I have no idea who wrote that. I do know that my emails were looped back and forth to her own...
I'm not listening to you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Julienne Bashir says former business associate Christine Fischetti owes for unpaid wages, harassment, and for ruining her business. Christine is countersuing for identity theft and harassment.
Okay, money owed for unpaid wages. That takes care of that part of your lawsuit,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am.
Great. Maliciously harassment and threats to the family. All right. Did you ever file for a protective order against her?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see a copy of that. This is sort of useless. Did you have a hearing?
Every time I went, she hadn't been served for whatever reason.
Okay. Would you return this to her, please? Now I want you to tell me about the malicious ruining of your business. What business?
I started a magazine on my own well after I had quit talking to Mrs. Fischetti From there,
a magazine about what?
Indie artists, whether it be producers, actresses, songwriters, musicians.
Okay.
You know.
This started around the end of last year, the beginning of this year.
Yes.
In the year 2014, what kind of work did you do?
I did PR work for my father, for his race team.
What kind of race team?
What they call the Dirt Series.
Car racing?
Yes.
So you had no prior nexus to the music industry until you met the defendant?
Yes.
You had no prior knowledge of anything to do with her business until you met her? Okay, I'm just getting it. Now I want you to tell me how she malicious created.
Okay, the magazine that I started, she would reach out to people and tell them things that were not true about me, that
Right,
I was fake.
You can't say that. That's hearsay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Then
anything
she would
else?
post on social media.
Okay, we'll take a look and see what she posted on social media. Did she say on social media that you stole her ideas?
No, it was more character assassination.
I'd like to see it.
There was no moral
I'd like,
lines.
just a second, I'd see it. What is this?
It's where she's on there with a group of people telling them about how I'm wanted by the FBI for identity theft. She's encouraging them all to go after me because I'm conning everybody on the internet, that I'm not, all those pictures on the internet are not me, even down to I'm a terrorist, and that I've been under an investigation by the FBI for I don't even know how long.
Where did you get that information?
I have no idea who wrote that. I do know that my account was hacked. My emails were looped back and forth to her
Listen,
own.
I'm not listening to you right now. Right now, we're not finished with her. She owes you $600 for your work. Now, because that's what you promised to pay her. I'm going to deal with your quick counterclaim for identity theft plus punitive damages for harassment and bullying. By the way, I actually think that it's, you know, it's not somebody and then stealing their idea. But it's certainly tacky, which is exactly what you did. You took the information that you got while you were working with her and you said, gee, that's a really good idea. I can take that and put it in a magazine, which is the reason that she's annoyed. But I don't know why you're annoyed, because according to you, you do this pro bono, because you're on disability, so you can't make any money, and your husband supports you. So I don't know why you're getting hysterical.
Because, Your Honor, she's not doing it for the right reasons. She's not getting artists to the door, to where they need to be. She's taking their money.
Listen, you're not the world's mommy.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. You have proof?
Your Honor.
Put your hand down. I'm finished with you. $600 is what you worked for. You're entitled to be paid. I don't believe her when she says that you were supposed to be working pro bono. There's no reason for it. You may have been skulking around the internet to try to find a project, but you're entitled to be paid, and I believe you when you say you had an arrangement that she was going to pay you, and she didn't. You have a counterclaim, money owed for identity theft plus punitive damages, harassment, and bullying. Give me the worst example of bullying. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $600. The counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
All you are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Julian Bashir stole all of my ideas.
She lied about everything.
She never worked with artists before until she came into my world.
She's never worked in the entertainment industry either, so I don't know how I would be getting anything from her.
She's defaming me.
She's posted everywhere that me and my family are terrorists.
Leave me alone.
The biggest mistake.
It was the biggest mistake I ever made, meeting someone on LinkedIn and trusting them.
There's no limits to where she wouldn't go.
The two of you were dating and decided to switch cars.
Exes drive each other away.
When I got it returned to me, it had that dent on the side of the door. She told me she had no idea how it got there.
There was no damage to it. I did not get in any accident.
That it was his turn with her vehicle.
So you damaged the front end of the car.
There was minor aesthetic damage to the front end of the car, yes.
Your Honor, I have a photo of it right here. It's not just...
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 22-year-old Lainey Rupp is suing her ex-boyfriend, 24-year-old Alexander Muriera, for damaging her car while he was borrowing it.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 609 on the calendar in the matter of Rupp versus Muriera.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Why don't you folks have a seat, please?
Ms. Rupp, how long were you and the defendant together as a couple?
We have been together as a couple for a year, and we dated for 6 months long distance.
And when you were a couple for a year, where were you living?
I was living at home in Denver, Colorado.
Was that with your family?
Yes, Your Honor.
Where are you living now?
Still at home with my family.
And where does the defendant live?
Just down the street in Denver, Colorado as well.
Down the street from where your family lives?
Same neighborhood, or adjacent neighborhoods.
And who does he live with?
3 other roommates.
And how long has he lived there?
Just moved in recently, I would say approximately 2 months.
And prior to that, where was he living?
He was living in Aurora, Colorado, approximately 30 minutes away from my home.
And so 2 months ago, he moved a block away. Was that before? That's very easy. That was after the fight. Yes. This is what this case is about. I love it. It's like shooting ducks in a
gallery.
In a pond. Ducks in a gallery. Whatever. There's nothing wrong with you, right?
No, not at all.
You don't have any psychiatric conditions?
No. No, ma'am.
Not taking any psychotropic medication?
No, ma'am.
So there would be no reason that a normal person, after they had this violent fight that you're alleging with the windshield, and she broke your car, with all that stuff, that you would move a block away from her?
I think the timeline is a little
no, just a minute. Just a second. You're telling me she has the wrong timeline?
I do.
This all happened within the last 8 weeks. So what I'm suggesting to you is, at my age, even I can recall what happened in the last 8 weeks. I asked her some very specific questions. She may not be as quick as you are, but she gave me the answer. And the answer was that you moved in a block away from her after you had this violent fight with her that you have a counterclaim about. So that's why I asked you whether you had any psychiatric history. Because Colorado is a big state, lots of places to live, and only a nut would move a block away from where her family is. Got what I'm saying?
If I could make a clarification?
Sure.
All right. I believe that the timeline is a little messed up. The first incident happened before I moved. The second incident happened afterwards. So
what first incident?
The dispute about her vehicle.
I don't care about the dispute about her vehicle. Listen. I'm going to read to you your counterclaim.
Yes.
The night we broke up on February 6th, she was screaming at the top of her lungs. Then she took her cell phone and threw it at my windshield, causing it to crack.
Yes.
All I wanted to know is, that's the night you allegedly broke up.
Yes. I moved into my home on January 1st at the beginning of the new year, and that happened after that.
She said it didn't happen after that. Were you mistaken?
I said he had moved in, and then the incident happened outside of his new house. And he's the one that punched the hole in the windshield. I don't know where he's getting these accusations saying that I threw the phone.
Fine. It was not my understanding of what you said. I said, did he move in before or after this big argument? And you said that he moved in after. I think that's what she said, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was referring to the damage to the vehicle, because we had two serious arguments.
No, we weren't talking about the damage to the vehicle. The damage to the vehicle didn't cause that much of a kerfuffle. The date... Right. Did you have a big argument that night?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So this is what the case is about. Now that I've piqued, I hope, anybody's interest in what this case is about, the two of you were dating and decided to switch cars. For whatever reason, I don't care. At some point, Mr. Muriera?
That's perfect.
Mr. Muriera said at some point, you caused a dent in his car. To the where?
The driver's side door.
Driver's side door. Somebody hit the car? Is that what happened?
I did not cause that damage to his vehicle.
I didn't ask whether you caused it. I said, did somebody hit the car?
I would infer that somebody hit the car if there's a dent.
I just asked you a question. When you had possession of his car, did somebody hit the car, causing a dent?
No, not when I had possession with his car.
Were you driving it at that time?
I was driving at the time, and there was no damage to it. I did not get in any accident.
When did this damage happen with your car?
The damage happened before the incident with her vehicle.
How much before?
About 2 or 3 months.
Well, tell me about it.
Well, I had borrowed her my car like I have before.
You didn't borrow her your car. You loaned her your car.
I loaned her my car.
Take a look at my eyes, sir. If you try to avert your eyes when you're telling me a story, I know that the story is not true. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge.
So right here, if you go like this and take the hair away, then I can...
One of these?
Yeah, that's better.
All right.
No, it's not better.
So it happened about 2 months before the incident with her Jeep. I loaned her my vehicle, and when I got it returned to me, it had that dent on the side of the door. I'm not aware of how it happened.
Did you ask her about it?
I did.
And what did she say?
She told me she had no idea how it got there, and, you know, I wasn't looking to cause an argument or cause any stress over it. It was purely aesthetic, so at the time, I let it go. And it wasn't until later, when she's starting to accuse me of damaging her vehicle, that it got brought up again.
Well, you did damage her vehicle. And was that on Christmas Eve?
So what happened on Christmas Eve was I was driving, and she had loaned me her vehicle because I had loaned her my vehicle, and I still needed to get around. I was very much so against the idea.
How long were you driving her car?
I drove it to work, and then back home, and then to kind of work. I also street perform, and so on the day that she saw her vehicle the next day, it was still running perfectly fine. I was using it, and I drove with my witness back to her home, and that's when she saw the damage to her vehicle. And
well, how did the damage happen?
So originally, she had...
Not originally. Just tell me how the accident happened.
She had loaned my vehicle to go to Fort Collins.
No, she borrowed your vehicle.
She borrowed my vehicle, and I used hers in the meantime. And
just tell me how the accident happened with her car.
I was driving on Highway 70, and I believe it's a four-wheel vehicle drive, and I made sure that
Don't tell me what you made sure. Just tell me. You were driving and...
I was driving, and somebody cut me off. The roads were in an icy condition, so me believing the car was in four-wheel drive like I had asked her previous to that.
Listen to me. I know the script that you have in here and that you have in your own head. You're going to tell me what I need to know is what you're telling me. You were driving the car.
I was driving the car.
And you spun out of control.
Somebody cut me off, and I had to try and avoid them to avoid damage to her vehicle, avoid damage to me.
You tried to avoid them, and...
I tried to avoid them, and the vehicle spun out of control.
And?
It did a 360 on the highway, and to try and avoid hurting anybody else, getting into collision with other vehicles, I managed to pull it into the median.
So you damaged the front end of the car?
There was a minor aesthetic damage to the front end of the car, yes.
Your Honor, I have a photo of it right here. It's not just minor aesthetic damage. He severely messed up the wheel well, if you would like to take a look.
I see it from here.
Yes, and so the wheel, anytime it would be driving in motion, it rubs up against that.
I see it.
Causing a lot of odd noises.
I see it. Put it down. So?
In a moment.
We don't have enough judicial manpower to deal with people who are living together to deal with this. And if it ends in a bad argument, it ends in a bad argument. That's it. It's over.
And later today.
If you say I sent them the wrong dune buggy, my bad. They used it, and then they told me they didn't want it. When they sent it back to me, it was broken. That's what a legitimate defense might be. But don't be shifty.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lainey Rupp says ex-boyfriend Alexander Murriera owes for crashing her car. Alexander has a countersuit claiming Lainey vandalized his vehicle.
Okay, you had this argument with the windshield on February 6th, according to you, right? Where did you go New Year's Eve with him?
Colorado Convention Center for a concert.
And where did you go after the concert?
Back to his house.
And you stayed the night?
Yes.
And did you stay the next day?
Yes.
That's January 1st. And what about the remainder of the week? How many nights a week did you stay at the defendant's house, and how many nights a week did you stay at your house?
It was pretty mixed. We generally would like to spend the night together, but other times I would go home because we have foreign exchange.
Did you fix your car?
No, not yet.
Did you fix your car?
No.
Fix each other's cars. You think that I'm going to be bothered with this? That a court is going to be bothered with this? After he allegedly had this accident, you weren't so mad that you didn't go out, spend the night, spend the next month out. And if I believe you that you're not still together, if I believe that, which is iffy. But let us assume that what you tell me is accurate, that after February 6th, and you had this kerfuffle where she threw her cell phone at your windshield and cracked your windshield. Is that what you told me?
Yes.
And didn't break the phone?
No, it didn't.
Just your windshield?
They make foam cases pretty solid nowadays.
No, she just broke my windshield.
Yes, she just broke my windshield.
And since that day, you haven't seen each other?
No, ma'am.
Did you have your windshield fixed?
I have not yet.
And did you have the side of your car fixed?
No, ma'am.
And she didn't have her car fixed, right? You didn't have your car fixed. I suggest you both have your cars fixed, and since neither of you had collision insurance, you're going to have to pay for it yourself. You were a couple. You were dating. Two of you decided to switch cars. You're each responsible for what happens. So you're responsible for your car. He's responsible for his car. And if you want some insurance company to be responsible for your cars, you get collision.
Damage to my vehicle because it wasn't being loaned to her. She was not driving the vehicle. In fact, it was committed in an act of anger. And I believe that that entitles me to compensation.
Yeah, it's not happening. Just like it's not happening that you're fixing her whole car. Do you understand?
I do not.
Well, I just explained it to you. We don't have enough judicial manpower to deal with people who are living together in your house a block away from where her family was, where she spent most of her time to deal with this. And if it ends in a bad argument, it ends in a bad argument. That's it. It's over. I'm not directing you because you spun out because you were probably going too fast, spun out in a bad snowstorm in her car. I'm not going to tell you have to fix her car. Just like, and she really didn't expect you to fix her car. Because if she really was so angry at you, you wouldn't have continued this ongoing liaison that probably still exists today. You're still living a block away?
It's
I just asked
more
you,
than a block.
It's 2 blocks.
It's a 10-minute drive.
Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He promised he would pay for the damage to my vehicle.
I don't understand why she says that we talked about her vehicle a lot because it didn't come up very often.
There's no way I could have thrown my phone and made that much damage.
She started throwing quite literally a tantrum, which ended in her throwing her phone. Yeah.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rowland versus Spears, step forward.
Elizabeth and Sean Rowland are suing Thomas Spires for selling them a defective dune buggy.
Mr. and Mrs. Rowland, you want your money back from the defendant for a dune buggy that you purchased from him.
Correct.
Said it wasn't what you ordered, you sent it back, and you want your money back. Mr. Spires says that you sent it back, but you sent it back, and clearly you had used it and broken it, and he's got a counterclaim, and he's got a counterclaim for defamation, a bunch of other things, and for shipping fees and repair costs, repairs on the dune buggy, because he said in order to resell it, he had to fix it. Is that your business, sir, dune buggies, or are you just an intermediary?
No, we're an online company, e-commerce, so we sell buggies and dirt bikes and scooters and ATVs and ship all over the United States.
But you don't actually have a store.
No, I have a store.
Okay.
I have 2 stores.
So the dune buggy that the Rowlands purchased from you was in your store?
A floor model, yes.
Then I was confused.
We were not told it was a floor model.
Because your answer says the plaintiff contacted me and showed interest. He agreed to find them what they were looking for. That's what you said.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's different from I have that in my store and it's a floor model. Do you understand?
No, I understand.
So you understand my confusion.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is the color, you're looking confused at me. I'm speaking English. English is your primary language, right? Is the color the only difference? Don't look at me confused. I've seen that confused look on a lot of people who lie to me.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Elizabeth and Sean Rowland claim Thomas Spires defrauded them over the sale of a dune buggy. Thomas is countersuing for shipping fees, repair costs, and slander.
Okay, I want to see the correspondence where the defendant either told you that he had a floor model of exactly what you were looking for.
He was never forced.
Or that he said, I agreed to find them what they were looking for. And you can look for your emails, too.
We had a phone conversation, Your Honor, not an email.
Is that correct?
Yes. Originally, when we contacted Mr. Spears, we told him that we had seen what we wanted on the internet and that we wanted to purchase it from him. I did let him know that I was a little leery about doing such a... Briefly, you know, I was kind of confused. I said, does it come assembled?
Okay. Tell me what this means. Elizabeth, I found the buggy. It got shipped to Kansas. What does that mean, sir?
Well, during December, we were shipping so many units. We ship out 30, 40 units a day. So mistakes happen. And so their buggy was going to another place, and another buggy went another place. So
is what you're telling me that they were shipped a different buggy from the one that they wanted because there was a mistake? That's either a yes or a no.
No, we had a phone conversation.
That's either yes or a no. Were they shipped a different one? Mr. Spears, I'm going to end the case right now, including your counterclaim. That's either a yes or a no. Were they initially shipped the wrong dune buggy? That's a yes. And I want you to tell me what the differences were in the dune buggy they were shipped and the one that they wanted. You tell me the difference.
The color, I had a conversation with them, and I told them...
No, just a second. What color did they order?
They wanted orange.
And what color was sent to them?
Red, because they agreed to take the red over the phone.
No, we did not. That's a lie.
Just a second.
No, it's not.
So far, sir, you're being a little disingenuous with me. And I don't like to use the word shifty yet. They told you that they wanted. You started to tell me before, this is what happened. If you say I sent them the wrong dune buggy, my bad. They agreed to accept it. They used it. And then they told me they didn't want it.
We never used it.
Shh. And then they sent it back to me. When they sent it back to me, it was broken. That's what a legitimate defense might be. But don't be shifty. You sent them something that they didn't order. And how much were you spending?
$4,920.94.
If I was spending $5 grand on a big ticket item, this is the color I wanted. Is the color the only difference in the dune buggy that they ordered and the dune buggy that you sent to them?
No.
Shh. I'm asking him, is the color... You're looking confused at me. I'm speaking English. English is your primary language, right? And
Yes.
I'm hard of hearing, so don't go like this to me because I don't feel sorry for you. I'm the one that's hard of hearing.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, is the color the only difference in the dune buggy that you sent to them? What were the other differences?
The two side panels.
So, in addition to the two side panels and the color, were there any other differences?
No, ma'am.
Yes, there were, because you started out by telling me a floor model. So what happened was you don't look at me confused. I've seen that confused look on a lot of people who lie to me. You sent their orange one, if you ever had one, to somebody else, if I believe that. But you had a red one that was a floor model. Show me anywhere where you ever said to them you were sending them a floor model.
I don't have anything in that, Your Honor.
And you now have the dune buggy back.
Correct.
Great. $4,920.94.
$20.94.
Judgment for the plaintiff. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Some get clever.
What's the story? I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Others get hostile.
I want to tell you what happened.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart.
I sent them a settlement letter stating that I'll give them $4,500 and call it a day.
$4,920.94, not $4,500.
Have people sign affidavits with the driver. That way we don't have any problems further.
I knew that she would see him for the person he was, which is a liar.
Drivers parked side by side.
Did your car door hit her car?
It touched it.
I would have been very annoyed.
Then they went toe-to-toe.
She proceeded to put her hand on my throat to choke me.
She reached out and just started putting her hands on my neck. You'll see in the video if it hasn't been altered.
And after the police viewed this, they took you into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lori Hanson is suing Georgette Davenport for medical bills and property damage due to an assault.
Order. All rise. That's case number 95 on the calendar in the matter of Hanson versus Davenport.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat. Huh?
You were parked in a parking lot, and Miss Hanson pulled in her car into the parking lot, and an altercation ensued between the two of you. It is your claim that, fortunately, we have, I see, the screen up so that there must have been surveillance.
Yes.
Am I correct that you were sitting in your car when she pulled up?
Yes.
And a reading of the complaint and answer suggests that she pulled up close to your car.
Correct.
And when she got out of her car door hit your car.
Yes.
How many times?
Once initially when she first opened the door, and then once she proceeded to get out of the car door is rubbing on my car now because she's squeezing to get out. And once she got out, that's when I proceeded to get out, and I noticed that...
Okay, you got out of the car to assess whatever damage there was, and?
When I noticed that the dent wasn't that bad, it was just like a smudge. So I asked her...
No, what did you... Not asked her.
Okay.
What did you say?
Why didn't you back your car up, reverse, and move a little to the right? Because there was plenty of more room.
Is that what you said to her? And I want you to tell me, I mean, you know, I would have been very annoyed if somebody banged into my car when they weren't paying attention to what they were doing and just being selfish by pulling up too close to your car and trying to get out of the car. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So I wouldn't have said, you know, you really could have moved a little over to the left. It's a good thing it wasn't my husband. It would have been a lot worse.
Right.
But why didn't you pull closer to the other side? What are you trying to squeeze out of this 6-inch space for? So now I want you to tell me what you said to her when you walked out.
Once I initially noticed
that it wasn't so bad.
It wasn't so bad. It still was annoying that you still tried to squeeze out. So I asked, why didn't you just reverse the car and move a little to the right?
Is that what you, the way
That's
you said?
exactly what I said.
Good. And what did she say to you?
Instantly, the response was, you don't see the line, indicating since she wasn't over the line.
That she wasn't over the line, she was just close to it.
But this much
No, I got it. I've been there. I live in Florida. I got the whole drill.
So, you know, I told her, you know, you don't have to talk to me like that. I asked you a simple question, and she started to proceed to walk up to me and told me, don't talk to me. Her fingers were this close to my face. I kindly pushed her hand down and told her, you need to back up. You know, you don't know me like that. You need to calm down. We exchanged a few words. I tried to walk past her. She proceeded to put her hand on my throat to choke me. And that's when I just had to let loose.
Okay. And that video is going to show me what happened.
Yes, and I have the video right here.
Good. Now I'm going to start with Miss Hanson.
Yes, ma'am.
So did you park too close to her car?
It was... No.
Okay. When you got out of your car, did your car door hit her car?
It touched it.
Then that was wrong, that it was too close to her car. Now, a small person may have been able to get out, but you're not a small person.
Correct.
So when you got out of the car and opened the door, it hit her property.
Yes, it
That was the wrong thing to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
You did it anyway. Now, you got out and she got out of her car.
She
and said to you...
Don't you know how to park a car?
Okay. And you said to her...
I turned to her and I said, listen. And I started to walk away towards the back of the cars because it was clear that she was still getting out of her car and running towards me, and I just wanted to get away. So I walked behind my car, and she was continuing to insult me because of my weight. And at that point, I made a motion with my hand like, and walked away. And then she got my attention, and I did a 180 and turned back towards her. And I didn't want to deal with her, so I was trying to get away. And then she reached out and just started putting her hands on my neck. And she was strangling me. And you'll see in the video, if it hasn't been altered, that I was doing this.
I'd like to see the video.
Because I just froze.
Bird. You know, I'm going to get down off the bench, and I want you to start that over again.
I have photos of my bruises, and I also was knocked twice in the face to the ground, flat on my back.
Listen, I have eyes.
Yes, ma'am, you do.
We may have to play this a couple of times.
Okay.
Which car is the...
I'm the white car.
Okay. Start that again. Go back. I want to see that again. Well, what I see is the person in white. That's you, right?
Yes, ma'am. Strangling me.
That's not what I see. Sorry. Sorry. I don't see her strangling you.
That's
on the side. I don't see her strangling you on the side.
The video.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the angle of the camera that doesn't show it, but I can tell you that her fingers are long and slim and very soft and cold because they were around my neck.
What I saw.
I understand that.
I understand.
But I don't know what I experienced.
I know what you experienced. And the police also viewed this. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. And after the police viewed this, they took you into custody.
Yes, ma'am.
Not her.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen, do we have anything else?
I have a police report.
I'd like to see it.
I have the police report. I have medical records.
I'm not interested in your medical records. We're not there. What's the difference if there are medical records? If you have medical records, if it was your fault.
She broke my phone. She knocked it out of my hands.
Just a second. Just a second. We'll get to the phone in a second because that's maybe the only thing.
She knocked it out of my hands.
I don't care.
Well, I did.
Listen to me. You hit her first.
No, ma'am, I did not.
Well, that's what that shows. And that's why the police arrested you.
I respectfully disagree.
You can respectfully disagree all you like. That's why the police arrested you, and that's what I saw. Hanson was found to be the aggressor by several witnesses and Davenport. Take her phone.
She was walking up to me, telling me I need to be still. She wants pictures of me. I didn't give anyone permission to take pictures of me. I asked her to stop. She kept running up on me after the altercation, so, you know, feelings are already, like, all over the place. She would not stop walking up to me in my space, so I took the phone out of her hand.
Okay, you can't do that.
Well, I ended up giving it back while I was on the phone making
Well, you didn't give it back?
No.
I put it on the hood of the car.
On the hood of what car?
On the hood of her car, because after she started chasing me around the parking lot, while I was on the phone with the police, they told me, give her phone back. You cannot do that. So I put it on the hood of her car.
Ma'am, the battery and the back of the phone were in separate places all over the parking lot. So I did have to hobble over and grab these different parts to put them back together. I also should point out...
Don't point at anything. I'm reading the police report.
I use a cane.
She didn't need that cane when she was attacking me.
You weren't using a cane there.
Exactly.
You're correct. There are times when I do not use it.
I'm not interested, actually.
I can appreciate that, but...
I'm not interested, and I told you once before. I'm reading the police report.
Okay. Here's my copy, if you'd like it.
Of what?
My copy of the police report.
I'd like to see her copy of the police report, please.
Thank you.
I want to know why the statements of the witnesses are deleted on both, actually. Because the police officer said, based upon the statements of the two witnesses and the security tape, they arrested you. It's just unusual to me that they would delete the witnesses' statements.
When I had picked it up, they said that if it's not my own statement, they can't show anyone else's.
Last thing the police officer said was, other than the witnesses' statements, Hanson stated she did not approach Davenport and that Davenport went to her. When I clarified with her in the video, it looks like she approached Davenport. She changed her story and was already walking to that way and didn't want to walk around. I placed Hanson under arrest and placed her in the rear of the car. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Why is that excused? You may step out.
I was actually really embarrassed. I was upset that I had to fight an elderly lady.
While I saw that there was a confrontation, obviously.
I was upset that she attacked me for no reason.
I didn't see her throw the first punch.
I'm happy it's over.
They said there were several witnesses.
Because I honestly don't understand why this lady is still pushing the issue.
That isn't what I saw.
When she caused all this mayhem.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Massey versus Carter. Step forward.
Teresa Carter for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges.
How did you know the defendant?
She worked at a daycare that my children attend. Her daughter owns the daycare.
Okay, so she worked for her daughter.
Yes.
You were being evicted from your last residence or had to relocate very quickly. Miss Carter agreed to let you and your children, you have 3 children?
Yes.
Move into her home.
She called me and offered me to move in. Yes, ma'am.
And that you would pay rent.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you move into the house?
I placed my belongings in her garage on February 27th. I had 2 dressers and a large TV that had actually been taken upstairs to the rooms, but the rest of my stuff was placed in the garage.
So some stuff was already in the room. How many rooms were you renting?
2.
And what was the rent?
The initial offer was for $500, but shortly after it was $600, and that wasn't a far jump, so I agreed.
When did you give her the $600?
I gave her $694 the day before, February 26th, and that's when she had given me the keys.
When did you physically go into the house?
February 27th.
Okay, this is what happened.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, I called and told her that I was just going to come get my stuff.
And your money?
Yes, and my money. And she told me to call the police.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jean Massey says former landlord Teresa Carter owes for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges. Teresa is countersuing for vandalism to her garage door.
Now, you got there, you're all settled in. She tells you you can't stay, you have to leave.
Not settled, no.
The next day?
No. February 27th, I got my stuff in. As I said, she was charging me $600. I had already had 2 money orders, which equaled out to be $694 because I was leaving the old place. So instead of giving that money to the prior landlord, I gave it to Miss Carter. So that's why it was $94 over.
Just a second. How much money did you receive from Miss Massey?
$694.
Okay, go.
So as I'm getting things into the garage, she calls me upstairs. In my mind, I'm thinking maybe...
Don't tell me what you're thinking. She called you upstairs.
She calls me upstairs. You can't stay here. And so she decided that I should have been paying half of utilities and a security deposit. So I said, well, Miss Carter, let me drop this truck off. I'll work something out. Because at this point, Judge, I had nowhere else to go.
Okay.
So I was going to really try to, come up with an extra couple of $100 back. I had to go to the old place that I was living in. I had to clean that up so it wouldn't be any mess in there. Had to get my kids situated. So from the time I left, maybe about an hour later, 3 or 4 phone calls kept coming to my phone. Well, I'll let you stay for a month because you already paid. I said to Miss Carter, that's not going to work because I need to save up money and time to find a new place. You already have my money. So, well, I'll call you back. I'll work something out. So then she called me back and she said, well, we'll just do a month to month.
So she called you back and she said, we'll do a month to month?
Yes.
And you said, no, that's not going to work. What were you thinking that you would do?
What do you mean, Judge?
Well, if she said, you're here already, you can stay for the month because you've already paid your rent.
Well, I just wanted her to understand that I needed some time to save up some more money.
Well, just a second. I don't understand what that means. Does that mean that when you moved into her house and you gave her the $694 for rent for the month, you didn't intend to pay her any more money?
No, I was going to pay her some more money once the new month occurred.
Okay, so what
So it would have been March.
So what you didn't want to pay her was a deposit.
No, I had no problem with the deposit.
But you...
What I had an issue with because she already changed her mind once.
It can't be a deposit and rent. Either the $600. What was it in your mind?
It was rent.
It was rent. And what was it in your mind?
It was rent, ma'am. I did not even charge her a deposit.
Oh, great. Terrific. And what was the last phone call you had with her or contact on the 27th?
So then she said, well, we gonna work something out. We'll see how it goes. It kept going back and forth between the month and the month to month. I decided at that point, I'm just not gonna go ahead with it. It was too confused. It was trouble already.
Okay, got it. And at some point, the police were called.
Well, I called and told her that I was just gonna come get my stuff. And
your money.
Yes, and my money, and that I'll go get a hotel. She informed me that I was not getting my money back.
Right. Then you called the police.
She told me to call the police.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You weren't arrested as a result of this.
No, I wasn't felony. I would have went to jail. I'm on probation.
What I'm asking you is, you weren't arrested as a result of
No.
this. Tell me what happened as a result of her filing this warrant application.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jean Massey says former landlord Teresa Carter owes for the return of rent and for filing false criminal charges. Teresa is countersuing for vandalism to her garage door.
Yes.
And I've read the complaint clearly, and I've read your answer.
Yes, ma'am.
The complaint states that in front of a police officer, Miss Carter, you signed a note that you would return her rent.
I did, ma'am.
Good. I'd like to see that note. And you never did, in fact, move in and stay there?
No, no.
You have to give her money back.
Okay.
$694.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
That's where we're at, $694. I'm not interested in the fact that you felt intimidated. You had
I
the
have
police
a
there.
counterclaim, ma'am.
You have just a second.
Okay.
She's not finished with her claim.
Okay.
She says that you took out a criminal warrant, and she's suing for punitive damages for filing a false criminal warrant against her. So that's the rent. Now let me see the allegations in the criminal warrant, please.
She decided to do this on March 1st. Yes, ma'am.
You weren't arrested as a result of
No,
this.
I wasn't felony. I would have went to jail. I'm on probation.
What I'm asking you is, you weren't arrested as filing this warrant application. And
It was
everything.
dismissed. She didn't even show up.
Can I see the dismissal,
Yes, ma'am.
please?
It was originally scheduled for April 7th, and in Georgia, they allow you to speak with the mediator first, because once you sit in front of a judge, that's the finalization of it. So the mediator advised.
Don't tell me.
Okay.
Don't
It
tell
was
me.
rescheduled to May 26th because she had insufficient evidence.
5/26.
May 26th, she didn't even show up. Case was thrown out.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
It is clear that this was dismissed.
It was dismissed, Judge, Your Honor, because I had a doctor's appointment. I went down and asked the judge if I could reschedule this because I had a doctor's appointment. I wouldn't make it. And they dismissed it so that I could file a civil suit. And I felt I had better plan because of getting my money for my garage door that she had tore up.
Yeah. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $694. Your counterclaim for a broken garage door is dismissed. We're done.
Please excuse, you may step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
When cousin runs to cousin.
She's a thief. Do you take any medication?
No, I don't.
Try to control yourself.
Next Judge Judy.
No, she never moved in. She just had beer cans all on the side.
She kept changing the story. Like, it went from,
She had got evicted from her other apartment.
you can't move in,
I had sent her to an attorney to help her.
to a little bit. I knew it was going to be, that was a foreshadow of things to come.
So she wouldn't go back to jail.
I didn't beat on the garage door.
She tore my garage door up. She lied. I tried to help her.
No reports, no arrests, no nothing.
Just know from now on not to help her. I tried to help her and her children.
No, I would have went to jail.
They didn't have a place to go. I know not to help her. Help nobody anymore.
I'm happy. I didn't get everything I was sued for, but I got my money back.
Don't help them. Let them be outside. Do whatever they got to do.
I was sitting next to him. He was hysterically crying.
Comforting a friend required big bucks.
He said that he would be losing his home. I happened to keep cash in my safe.
Now, can the judge make her feel better?
You believe that you owe her some money.
I don't think I owe her that this time now.
I have gone to the police department over 5 times.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judy.
Kimberly Sullivan is suing her former friend, James Spaulding, for a series of unpaid loans.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 118 on the calendar in the matter of Sullivan versus Spalding.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Ms. Sullivan, I've read your complaint. According to that complaint, the defendant owes you for a loan that you made to him, a loan
Yes.
in the amount of $3,600.
That's correct.
And you and the defendant were friends. You had met through a mutual friend. According to you, he came to you at some point with a tragic story and his need for money.
Yes.
You want to tell me when that was?
September 24th, 2015.
How long had you known him?
About a year plus a few months.
Did he come to your house or did he call you on the phone?
He had called me. We had met, and he...
Where did you meet?
We met at his house.
This is
first.
untrue, Your Honor.
I don't want to hear you. There's no issue with regard to whether she gave you the money. You acknowledge she gave you the $3,600.
No.
Oh, yes, you did in your answer. You absolutely did. There's no question that you acknowledge that she gave you $3,600. You have a different story about the $3,600, but there's no issue that she gave you the money.
Explained to me was at his home. I was sitting on his couch next to him. He was hysterically crying. He said that his home was going to be foreclosed on, that he would be losing his home. I knew that, in fact, there was a 6-year-old, I believe it's a nephew, that is living with them, that him and his wife take care of a child. I felt extremely bad and was very worried and concerned about the situation and agreed to lend him the money. However, he agreed to get it back to me in a very timely fashion. He showed me the business card.
Okay, did you give him a check?
I gave him $2,500 cash. I gave him a check for $825 on September 24th.
That's an odd figure. You want to explain why?
He had been in serious money trouble. He said, I believe he has a car payment roughly of $400 a month. I'm not positive, but he needed a check to deposit. He had no money in his bank. He was fearful that he couldn't cash a check that large. I happened to keep cash in my safe because of emergencies. I went to Hurricane Katrina, realized cash is king.
Okay. Do you have a copy of that check?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, may I also tell you sort of
itself?
Yes. Because of the large amount of cash, I said that I would need some kind of collateral. I had him sign over his pickup truck to me.
I'd like to see that.
I did not. I just put a nominal fee of $1,500 on it because it's worth so much more that if I was going to get the truck, I would make out better in the deal.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, here is the checks, and here is his signature. He signed it gladly when the cash was in his face. Here you go.
Any other proof of the money that you want to show me?
I just have a very messy checkbook register, and I can...
I see the $850.
Well, it's just that I write down notes. I put $2,500 cash to Jay. I had avoided a check at one point because I...
No, not necessary.
And also, just so you are aware, I gave him quite a bit of time to come up with the money.
Just a second.
And I was very...
Just a second. I have a question. I know you have a drill.
Okay, sure.
I have a question. Did he ever repay any part of that money?
A total of $120.
When did he pay the $120?
When I was to pick up the pickup truck about 3 to 4 weeks ago.
This is untrue, Your Honor.
Pick up his pickup
Yes.
truck?
I have retained an attorney in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Okay, so then he gave you one payment of $120.
Yes.
Now, do you have any proof of that payment of $120? No. You do not?
He has it, but I don't.
Was there anyone present when he gave you that $120 4 weeks ago?
No, there was not.
How was it communicated to him that you were going to pick up his truck?
Verbally by me and from the Candia Police Department. I have gone to the police department over 5 times. I do have statements from the chief, and...
Is that a police report or
yes.
just is a police report?
Yes.
I'd like to see it.
There's a couple of reports from the chief because the first time...
Don't tell me because...
Oh, no, I'm just saying the dates. The original was in November.
Just a second.
Okay. There you go.
Well, this is an email.
Well, if you look behind it...
This is... If you could return that to her, please. Okay. Now I have two different stories that you told the police. So now I'm going to go to Mr. Spaulding. It is clear, Mr. Spaulding, that the plaintiff gave you money.
Yes, Your Honor.
It is also clear to me, based upon the police report, which includes statements from you.
I think I owe her that this time now.
Well, that's incorrect, based upon what you told the police.
I never went to see the police at all. I never was down there.
You told the police,
This is all
police chief, and you called him.
Who?
You called him.
He called me.
Oh, well, great. Perfect. See? Always step on your own tie. Now, you had a conversation with him, and you assured him that you were going to start to pay her $100 a month.
Absolutely.
Now, how much did you pay her?
Well, on some of the occasions...
Well is not an answer. I have a date on this. Okay. How much did you pay her?
On all right here, I've tried to pay her numerous times. I've had her phone hang up on me on occasions. What you're not hearing is the full truth. I did work for this lady.
She absolutely said that to the police the first time, which she didn't tell me.
Right.
She said she fronted you some money, and she fronted you some money to do work for her because you were complaining that you were going to lose your house.
That is untrue.
Okay.
I never went to her and complained that I was going to lose my house.
Listen to me, sir. How old are you?
59 years old.
I'm older. I have plenty of places where I have workmen work for me.
Yes.
People that I know and trust, the back to the front of the house, like you allege you did.
More than that.
Pay attention. They never get paid up front. They get paid when the job is done. Now, they may get a certain amount of money if it's a huge job, if they're redoing a kitchen, if they're moving my house back 4 feet. They may get a startup money and then bill during the next 30 days. But they don't get the money up front. So there had to be a reason that she gave you this money up front. She tells me a perfectly cogent reason. Now I'm waiting for yours, why she gave you the money up front.
It was a down payment of $800. I have it right here on one of her receipts.
It was a down payment of what, $800 for what?
For work to be done at her home.
Just a second. I'm asking you a question.
And I did some work.
No, just a second. I'm asking you a question.
Ahead, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I never knew anybody
who
was retaining somebody's services to do menial work, paying them up front for that work unless there was a reason. She gave me a cogent reason. I'm waiting for your reason. And if you tell me she paid me up front again because I was going to do some work for her, I'm telling you now I don't believe that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I want to know who the last person was that you worked with.
I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous.
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
And later today...
This is baloney, because there was no weekly room rental. There was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around, because, you know, sometimes you play around and you can get burnt.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kimberly Sullivan says her former friend, James Spaulding, owes for unpaid loans.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, it was a down payment.
It was a down payment?
Yes, and I did work there at her home, several different jobs.
Just a second. Now, you're 59 years old, and what do you do for a living?
Handyman.
Who do you work for?
Just myself.
Have you always worked just for yourself?
No.
When was the last time you had a full-time job?
2000s. Early 2000s.
Okay. Do you receive any sort of disability?
No. Yes.
Do you receive any sort of disability? That's either yes or no.
No.
No. Well, I want to know who the last person was that you worked for and how much you made.
I can't tell you that right now. I'm a little confused. I'm a little nervous. And
I'll let you sit down, sir. Get unconfused and get unnervous.
But, you know, I just want to clarify something with you, Your Honor.
No, I want an answer to my question. And you can sit there if you...
I can't tell you any part about my side of my defense, then.
I asked you a question. I said you make a living as a handyman.
Various people. I don't have names and addresses, ma'am, in front of me.
Not various people. I don't want
I'm just
various names. I said I want the last person.
I don't really recall the last person.
And it couldn't have been within the last month.
Yeah, there was work before her. I just can't think of who they were right now. You know, I didn't bring this evidence with me. Didn't think I'd be happy to have this, Your Honor. That's all.
Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $3,600. We're done.
Thank you.
All right, Judge
Your Honor.
excused. You may step out.
I'm very pleased with her decision.
I feel that this was not treated in my fairness at all.
There's no reason someone would sign their car over for nothing.
I gave that to her as something with my name on it and told her that this truck had a lien on it, that it couldn't be taken.
I'm not going to lend any money to anybody.
She sat in there, she lied right through her teeth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Proc versus Hayes. Step forward.
Liza Proc is suing her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Ms. Proc, you rented a room in the defendant's condo. Is it a condo?
It's a home.
House? Home?
Yes.
When did you rent the room?
September 9th.
Stay with him.
I didn't get to be there for the full month, and it was intended to be a month-to-month tenancy.
I'm not following. How long did you stay there?
Less than 1 month.
And what was the rent?
$830 per month.
What date did you move in? On the 19th?
Yes.
And what day did you move out?
My belongings were moved on the evening of October 16th.
Okay. And I want you to tell me, Mr. Hayes, she moved out in less than a month. Do you want to tell me why?
Well, I put an ad in Craigslist, and I went out of town for a few days, and then when I came back, the first night, she proceeded to have this white noise to sleep with.
Listen to me. I just want you to tell me why she moved out. Did she move out voluntarily, or did you put her out?
I basically evicted her from a weekly rental.
You evicted her?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, she said the rental was $830 a month.
Yes.
How much money did she give you in September on the 19th when she moved in?
She gave me $830, and $600 was a security deposit approximately, and $200.
Show me that in writing, where $600 was security deposit.
Well,
show me
I just have a
check.
receipt.
That's incorrect.
I'd like to see it.
There was no deposit.
I'd like to see it. A signed receipt by her saying that $600 of the $830 was security deposit.
But here's the receipt.
I'd love to see it.
That doesn't exist.
Shh. That's what it's worth, Mr. Hayes. I don't have this job because I'm foolish.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
Yes.
Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. Not surprised that you tried to do it, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Liza Proc says her former landlord, Gregory Hayes, owes for the return of rent, hotel costs, lost wages, and stolen property.
Now, you put her out before the end of the month because she was an annoying tenant. That's what I read in your answer. You didn't like the noise that she played at night in order for her to sleep. She plays a white noise, but it was a white noise that, according to you, sounded as if, well, you didn't use those words, like you were in the middle of 42nd Street. Nobody else could sleep in the house from her white noise. Lots of other things that were annoying, and you put her out.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
You put her out. You have to pay her rent.
I understand.
And that's just a start, because you can't unilaterally, you take in a tenant, and there are certain procedures that you have to go through. If you've taken her rent for the month, which you did, then you have to give her more than 2 days' notice that she has to leave.
I gave her 2 weeks.
Did you give her 2 weeks?
Yes.
Show me that you wanted her out at the end of the month.
This was served to her by my son, Trevor, and this is a notice that in 2 weeks she must move out because I tried to communicate with her.
I'd like to see it.
She was unwilling.
That doesn't exist either.
And I did use the civil procedure.
Well, first of all, this is baloney. Because giving you notice because your weekly room rental, there was no weekly room rental, there was a monthly rent of $830. You were playing around, Mr. Hayes. Don't play around because, you know, sometimes you play around and you can get burnt. The rental agreement was based on a weekly rental of $207. That, Mr. Hayes, is baloney. Now, your loud noise is beyond limits, and you have threatened some of my guests. That may be. But the weekly rental baloney is just that. It's baloney. And you had no right to put her out. She's entitled to minimum. He put you out prior to the termination of the 1 month, giving you no legitimate notice.
Right.
And I'm very rarely sympathetic in this kind of situation. But I am sympathetic with you because if he's not getting along, if he tried to do it legitimately, he would have been okay. But instead, he went into this convoluted argument that the $830 was not monthly rent, but it was $207 a week. Now, if you were going to make up this ridiculous document, at least you should have your figures right, because a weekly rent based upon 4.3 weeks in a month is $193.02, not $207. You got it?
In real estate law, you use 30 days.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what if there are 31 days in a month, sir?
You still use 30 days.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
I have a license in real estate.
Is that your expertise in real estate law?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
$193.02. That's weekly rent divided by 4.3 weeks, which there are on average a month. That's why your whole story is baloney. Surprised at you, Mr. Hayes. I'm surprised, not surprised that you tried to do it, but surprised that a reasonably intelligent man would put himself in this position in front of 10 million people.
Judy continues in a moment. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, so you were put out. Where did you go when you were put out?
I had no place to go.
Where did you go?
I initially went to a friend's.
Okay, and how long did you stay with the friend?
For the one night.
And then?
I found motels to stay in. I had no friends or other options.
How long?
I became homeless due to this situation and until February. Many months of not knowing where I was staying, not knowing where I was
Where did you live before you lived with Mr. Hayes?
I was occupying a room in another place in North County, San Diego.
Where were you before you moved into Mr. Hayes' room?
I was living in Vista, California.
How long were you there and what address?
I was there approximately a year and a half.
Why did you leave there?
Interested in moving into Encinitas.
What kind of work do you do, Ms.
I work as a consultant, events, promotions. It's projects and gigs, very sporadic.
How do you support yourself?
I work projects and gigs. So I look on the internet, get hired by different companies to work and manage and execute their events.
And where are you living now?
I'm staying with family in another part of the county.
So taken.
Honestly, I'm not sure what they might have taken because they dismantled my room behind my back. So I just put everything safely into a storage unit.
So you don't know what items were taken?
Right.
You don't know?
I hope minimally nothing, but I'm still honestly not sure because what was my bedroom became a storage unit, and I can show you that photo in Carlsbad. So he moved out behind my back.
I'm issuing a judgment for $2,330, and I'm basing it on this. $830, she's getting her rent back for the month that she did not, in fact, live there, but she paid you for, and $1,500 for the illegal eviction. We're done here. Thank you.
All right, Judge, excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Liza Prock is a scam artist, and it's all over the internet.
There's fictitious information.
I was really scared for myself in my own home with this person living there.
The son and the dad lived in the home, and it was a 2-on-1 situation. I was very scared.
She stayed for a month, and she paid for a month. Bottom line.
The bottom line is I have been made homeless, and I'm very skeptical of living with anyone ever again.
Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car.
This buyer barely got to hit the road.
I bought it off of Craigslist.
Now you're suing him.
Did the car's seller strike again?
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
No, ma'am. I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier is suing William Bosch for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Order. All rise. It's case number 119 on the calendar, the matter of Cormier versus Bolch.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Car has been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Well, this is actually a pretty confusing car case, even for me. So maybe, Mr. Cormier, you can make it easier for me. You purchased a car from Mr. Bolch. When? Month, day, and year.
It was September 18th, 2014.
And you had not known him before?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Balch, what kind of work do you do, sir?
I'm in the oil field, oil and gas.
And do you have your own company or do you work for somebody?
No, ma'am, it's my own company.
And how long have you had that company?
10 years.
Prior to that, did you work for someone else?
No, ma'am, I had another company.
Same kind of...
Laredo, Texas.
Mr. Balch, I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I just want to figure out who you are. Who is this young man?
This is my son.
You live with your son? Do you have family or other children?
Yes, ma'am. I have 5 sons and 3 daughters, and 2 foster kids, David and Diana.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
Have you ever been convicted of a misdemeanor, Mr. Bosch?
No, ma'am.
I'm asking you these simple questions because somehow Mr. Cormier seems to think that you scammed him out of a car that you sold to him on the 18th of September, 2014. So I'm trying to get an idea of who you are and whether this is something that was a typical thing for you to do. Now, what kind of a car did you sell him, Mr. Bosch?
It was a Mustang.
Had you had it for a long time?
A couple of years.
How old was it?
I guess it was around 10 years old.
And how much did you sell it for to Mr. Cormier?
$3,500.
So far, we are correct, Mr. Cormier.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
far, correct. And you didn't know him before?
No, ma'am.
You saw the car parked in the street?
No, I bought it off of Craigslist.
And you looked at it?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
when you went, you gave him cash for it?
Yes, ma'am.
He doesn't deny that he gave him cash, and he gave you the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he also give you the title to the car?
Yes, ma'am.
So you titled in his name,
Yes, ma'am.
and he signed the title over to you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you can pick it up from there.
I can probably need a little bit of help. I got incarcerated about 4 days afterwards. It was at my mom's house, and she was trying to sell it. She knows a little bit more as far as details.
Fine. So you were incarcerated for how long?
14 or 15 months.
So you don't know what happened to the car after 14 or 15 months yourself?
No, ma'am.
But you were in touch with your mother for
Yes,
those
ma'am.
14 or 15 months. Okay. Now step up. Your last name is?
Cormier.
All right, Miss Cormier. Now, your son is incarcerated for a year and a half. He has this Mustang that he has just purchased for $3,500. Pick up the story. Why is Mr. Bosch here today?
About a week or so after my son was incarcerated, I think it started raining. The Mustang had holes in the roof, and I had no key to it. The key was with my son down in Galveston, about 250 miles away. He suggested I contact Mr. Bolsh to see if he have a spare key, which he did. We met at his office, got the spare key. I explained to him I wasn't really sure about what I was going to do with the title. I needed to know the disposition of my son's case, if I would put it in my name, if I was going to sell it. You know, there was lots of different variables going on. And so we had faxed each other, had called each other on the cell phone.
Ever registered the car in his name before he was incarcerated?
Right.
The title is in your son's name?
Correct.
And you did not register the car?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And he, Mr. Balsh, gave you the spare key that you requested.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Probably a month or so later, my son's girlfriend, a friend of hers who lived with her dad, wanted to buy the vehicle on payments. And then about a month or so later, and I relayed that to Mr. Bolsh.
He has nothing to do with it.
No, he doesn't, but I just wanted to let him know what was going on.
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why. There would be no reason to let him know somebody else wanted to buy the car.
Right.
On payments. And the car is no longer his. He has turned over the title to your son.
I'm assuming, I thought maybe he may want to know why he hadn't received the, you know, they send a copy of the title, I think.
Oh, you mean because it had not been taken out of his name yet, despite the fact that he had turned it over to you. If you or this girl that was wanted to buy it on payments drove around with it and didn't register it, if the car got into an accident, his business is liable. He's liable. His children are liable. His family is liable. So you...
It was a courtesy on my part, I believe.
It wasn't a courtesy. The right thing to do had been to register the car so that he, who had sold you the car, your liability or your son's liability.
My son's, it's in his name.
Well, it's in his name. But then you were going to increase his liability by selling the car to someone who wanted to buy it on payments. Did you sell it to that person?
I never fully got to. He asked to take it to a shop, which he did. He gave me $300 or $400, and I haven't seen it. This person named Adam. He lived with my son's girlfriend's father. He did his paperwork, his books. He took it to a shop. in a little town supposedly outside of San Antonio to his shop to have it looked at. I haven't seen it since. He was arrested soon after that.
And?
Well, that's the car.
That's
just a second.
And so I started looking for it.
Just a second.
I started looking for the vehicle. I've got search results. I drove around looking for it.
So now, because of both of your irresponsible behavior, I'm just following this because of both of yours, his and yours. I don't care about the car. You have a businessman who's got a gaggle of children that he supports. If this car is in an accident and kills somebody, if this car gets tickets, if this car has any involvement with the police authorities, they're coming after him. Outrageous, actually. Not malicious. I don't think you did it maliciously. But you do have to recognize that you exposed him.
Ma'am.
Did you ever get the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Because when I found the Mustang on Craigslist in July of 2015, I called the Pflugerville where it was. I called the police department. They said because it wasn't in my name, I needed to go to the DMV and get a certified copy of it, which I did the next day. On the certified copy, and I've got copies of it, I have on May 1st, 2015, Mr. Bolch went and applied for a duplicate title, and he stated on there, okay.
And
then on May 15th, he resold it to a Freddie. He resold a vehicle that was not his.
Well, somebody with his name did that. And maybe it was Adam.
Adam is in jail. He's in prison.
Just a second. Or maybe Adam's mother. Oh, who knows?
Looks the same.
No, ma'am. I'm sorry.
I'll take a look. Did you resell the car?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you apply for a duplicate title?
Yes, I did.
Okay, when? Tell me when you applied for a duplicate title and why.
I guess that was May 1st, 2015.
Yes.
And my son, David, he was at this time involved.
Just a second.
Okay.
Do you know what happened with the duplicate title?
Yes, ma'am. Once we got the duplicate...
Why did you get a duplicate title?
She had called us, informed us that she had lost the title. No. Once that had happened, my dad had then gone to the DMV.
Just a second. She said she lost the title.
Yes, ma'am. She said...
Oh, just a second. Well, if you gave Adam the car to take to his shop, listen to me carefully, Ms. Cormier.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
If you gave Adam the car to take to his shop just to look at it, you would not have given Adam the title to the car.
No.
I'd like to see the title to the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, one of the things you're supposed to do, Mr. Bosch, is put in the date of the sale, because you signed this, as did Mr. Keith Cormier, but you didn't put in the date of this sale. It's a good idea that you do that. Okay, so now she has her copy of this.
Original.
So now my question is, why would she call you for a duplicate title?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son. I don't know if they parked it. All I know is we got a phone call, and Mrs. Cormier was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says.
And later today...
She wasn't around at the time, so I just went on and put it into my name at the time, and then when we found her, then we was going to do the transfer.
You think I'm buying this story?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Keith Cormier says William Bosch owes for the return of money he paid for a Mustang.
Go ahead.
Mrs. Cormier had then informed us that her son Keith was driving, and the title flew out the window. That is the story that we got. We didn't ask no questions about it. We said, okay, but once we get this duplicate, we expect this car to be changed over.
Now, my question to you is, did she ever tell you that her son was incarcerated?
She did. We then asked if we could switch the title in her name. She made the date. She said, next Tuesday I'll be free. When she said that, we waited. We worked 2 blocks from the DMV. We said, we'll drive you over, we'll sign everything over there, and you can get it done. She never appeared on that date. She called 2 weeks later, and then we rescheduled it again. She did this a number of times, and she never appeared while it's still registered in Dad's name.
It's no longer registered in your name?
Not no.
Of either of these 2 people, do you know?
No.
No.
Do you know that it's not?
Yes.
In whose name is the car registered?
Freddie.
And do you know who that is?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is it?
It is a fellow who contacted me. He ran our license plate because the car was impounded twice.
Car was impounded?
Impounded twice. He contacted me, said he traded his car. He's about 17 at this time, and at the time that he contacted me. Said he traded his car, they took his car and some money, and gave him that car with no title. So he ended up getting pulled over, and they asked him who Bill Balch was.
Do you remember the date of the call from Freddie?
It was around May 15th, because that's the day that we transferred. So it was about a 15-day stretch.
May 15th of what year?
2015.
Did you ever receive any impound bills for your car?
No, ma'am.
Where had the car been impounded?
Once was with her son, Freddie, in San Antonio. That's where the car was impounded at. I don't know if they parked it. All I know is we got a phone call, and Mrs. Cormier was trying to get it out of impound.
I believe everything he says. I believe everything he says.
Wow.
Right, good. So I don't know where your car is. You should take responsibility. You got busted. Your mother did not take appropriate caution. So that responsibility for your car. You didn't take proper precaution. Your son didn't take proper precaution. And I find that neither one of these two people had anything to do with getting your car impounded, getting the title transferred, and reselling it. I don't see any evidence of that. None. Your case is dismissed. We're done.
I have a picture right here that shows that the car is parked in front of my mom's house, October 2015.
We are done.
Why is our excuse? You may step out.
I paid $3,500 and got scammed by this guy.
I think that they saw him as an easy target, and they could take a quick dollar.
They're saying that he was driving the vehicle and the title flew out the window, and I made these bogus phone calls.
You cannot trust everybody, but you know what? It can't ruin your optimism about life and people.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Dickerson versus Falls. Step forward.
Robbie Dickerson is suing his sister, Shalonda Falls, for unpaid traffic tickets.
Mr. Dickerson, you bought a car, put it in your sister's name. This is your sister.
Yes, miss.
Who paid for the car?
I did.
If you paid for the car, were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
Yes.
And why were you making a gift to your sister of the car?
So my dad can be ran from point A to point C. So that's what I was doing.
Well, but the car is kept. Why didn't you give her the car and put the car in her name?
Well, she wasn't around at the time.
What do you mean she wasn't around?
She wasn't around at the time when I went and purchased the vehicle.
Oh, that's okay.
So I just went on and put it into my name at the time. And then when we found her, then we was going to do the transfer and switch everything into her name when we found her.
You think I'm buying the story? I'm not buying the story at all, so far.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh, just a second. Okay. First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Robbie Dickerson says his sister, Shalonda Falls, owes for traffic tickets. Shalonda is countersuing for a false CPS report.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I bought the vehicle.
Oh, I know you bought the vehicle, and the vehicle is in your name.
Correct.
And she drives the vehicle, and she got parking tickets.
Correct.
When she got the car, okay? You want the car back?
No, miss.
Well, because this car is still in your name, right?
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So you just get a marshal and you go and get the car.
Correct.
If it's your car. You didn't put the car in your sister's name. Do you have a driver's license?
I have a driver's license.
Why didn't he put the car in your name?
Because it's his car. He's not trying to give it to me.
Oh,
Right.
fine. Then that's very easy. Then you were driving the car.
Yes, I'll show for my dad.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And you got tickets.
Yes, I
While
did.
you were driving.
I got one ticket.
You got a ticket, so you have to pay for it.
Right.
Right. Why didn't you pay for it?
I went to court for that ticket. It's right here. I got proof. It got thrown out.
It got thrown out?
It got thrown out.
I'd like to see it, because that's his
No.
lawsuit. February 9th, 2015, cell phone use while driving. Is that the ticket?
No, miss.
No, this is no, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Very good. So if that's not the ticket that
That's
you're
the only
talking
ticket
about,
that I
this
got.
was a cell phone use and motor vehicle
Here's
without
all the
operated
tickets in
without
collection.
insurance was dismissed.
This is Alliance 1 with the collections, and then the tickets are right here. So sorry.
Great.
This is all the information for the tickets.
Can I say something?
Nope.
Okay.
All these different tickets.
Right. Them are not mine. Everybody else drives that truck. His twin brother, they still drive it. I'm not the only one that drives that truck. So that's not my
Well,
tickets.
just a second. Just a second. Hold on. So other people use the vehicle?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I am going to suggest to you, Mr. Dickerson, that unless you could prove to me that she has sole custody of this and nobody else is permitted to drive it since the car is in your name, and what she says is...
These tickets are photo enhancement tickets. Our officer is not there present at all
do you have her driving?
to take pictures of them.
Oh, you have... Do you...
Because she's the only licensed driver to drive the vehicle at the time. My dad can't drive. He has to have
No, that's
one
not
foot.
what she's saying. She's not saying your dad drives. She says that there are other people that drive...
There's no other people that live in the home. That's a lie, Your Honor.
They don't have to live in the home to drive the car. They don't... What I'm going to suggest to you is take the car back. Do you understand? What kind of car did you buy?
It was a 99 Chevrolet Tahoe.
Great. And you still drive it?
No, I have my own vehicle.
Just where is the car now?
The vehicle is still at the house where she lives at.
Get it?
It's out of my name.
Well, whose name is it in?
The ticket, it's in my dad's name and her at the time when the tickets was present.
Oh, just a second. So at the time that these...
Yes, miss. They was already out of my name.
So it's out of your name. Great.
To me. That's all
Okay. You have a counterclaim that he filed false child protective services?
Yes.
Against you? I got 30 seconds before lunch.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, these are all the officers that I took charge for coming to my house every night, waking me and my children up, stating they had to check on my kids because I was falsely neglecting my kids. He was the CPS worker. I have proof that the case is closed.
Just a second. All I want to know is what proof do you have?
Okay, well, he did this because of the ticket.
Shh, just a second.
Okay.
First thing you have to show me is proof that he called Child Protective Services.
Well, I don't have proof that he did it.
Well, that's all I need. That's what I need for your counterclaim. Proof that he called Child Protective Services. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $498 for the tickets. Counterclaim is dismissed.
Thank you,
This
Your
is
Honor.
lunch. Thank
you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I'm just glad it's over. It's ridiculous because it's family.
I'm happy that I received my justice.
It's hurting me because we're not close like we used to, and I would never do that to them.
I still love my sister, and my family's gonna always be family.
I just hope just move on.
She know I love her. Get ready.
Glad it's over.
Mario came to me and said, "Give me your car keys," threateningly.
Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Carjacked by his classmate?
Your Honor, he's lying.
I actually don't believe a whole bunch of what he's saying to me.
Or just steering clear of mom?
I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving. He hits another car. He's panicking. He tells me to switch seats with him.
Your son is a fibber.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Johnson is suing her son's former classmate, 18-year-old Mario Ramirez, for wrecking her son's car when he forced her son to let him drive it.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 121 on the calendar, the matter of Johnson versus Ramirez.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. You can sit down.
You are only here during the course of the incident.
No.
But this is what you say in your complaint. What you say in your complaint is that this young man is responsible for your car being crashed.
Yes.
Good. Now you can have a seat. This is your son. He had your car that day, correct?
Correct.
Tell me your first name.
Andre Johnson.
Andre?
Johnson.
Your first name?
Mario,
How old are you, Mario?
18.
How old are you?
19.
You both go to the same school?
Yes.
Correct.
How long have you been going to the same school?
I believe 4 years.
Mario, have you ever been to Andre's house?
Only once.
When?
I don't remember the date.
Recently?
No.
A while ago?
Yeah, you could say that.
Were you there as an invited guest? Did
Yes.
you go to a party?
It was an invited guest.
Do you remember that?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Did you ever have a party at your house?
No, ma'am.
Was he ever at your house?
No.
Were you ever at his house?
Yes.
When was the last time you were at Mario's house?
It would be a while ago, ma'am.
How long ago? A month? 2 months?
Like, maybe like a few months. Like, 5 months.
What were you doing at his house?
Just hanging out.
And when you say hanging out, you were hanging out with who else?
Just him, Your Honor.
Just Mario?
Yes.
Did you play video games? Did you?
Just watch sports and TV.
How many times have you been to his house? Altogether, in the last 2 years? More than 5 or less than 5? Those times hanging around? Just hanging around watching TV?
Yes.
Now, how come Mario never came to your house?
He was uninvited.
Why?
Because of the car.
You mean because of this accident?
Yes.
I want to know before that.
Oh.
I mean, you telling me that you were at Mario's house after the accident?
No.
Was he at your house after the accident?
I believe he was. I wasn't there present, but my father told me he was there.
After this accident, was the plaintiff there at your house?
He just showed up with the mom to complain about the accident.
Oh, that's the only time he came.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you again. You used to hang out in Mario's house. Why was he never a guest in your house?
Because my mom, she didn't trust him. That's why.
Your mom didn't like him?
Yes.
Okay. Did your mom know that you were going to his house?
Yes, because...
Just a second. Did you tell your mom that you were at his house hanging out?
Yes, because even though she didn't trust him, I did. I felt like...
Andre.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you think you're going to try to get the story straight in your head.
Yes.
But you're not going to be able to, because I've been doing this questioning too long. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, the reason that Mario didn't come out and hang out in your house is because your mother didn't like him. Yeah. But you liked him.
Yes.
So you would go to his house.
Yes.
Did you tell your mother that you were going to his house? Him as a friend for you. If that were my judgment, I would say, well, I'd rather have him in my house so I could sort of know what was going on rather than my son going to his house. So I'm going to ask you again. Don't try to figure out where I'm going. Did you tell your mother that you were hanging out in Mario's house?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
At the time you were doing it?
Yes.
And what did your mother say?
Be careful.
Be careful. Okay. But you had nothing to be careful about because you kept going.
Yeah, because we have violence on our streets.
We what?
We have, like, violence, like, not a lot, but around where we live, so...
That's not what I'm asking you. You weren't at his house because of violence. You were at his house because you liked him.
Yes.
Did you also like him in school?
Yes.
Got it? I'm looking at you because the first line in your complaint is, Mario went to high school with my son, Andre. He has been bullying my son for the past year, and my son is completely intimidated by him. That's the way we start out. But that's really not true. Your son liked him. He was his friend, and he used to go and hang out at his house. And whether he told you or not, I don't know. But it's not true, because he wouldn't go to his house to hang out if he was intimidating him. We understand each other, Andre?
Yes.
Now, you were driving your mother's car on the day of the accident. I want you to tell me what happened.
Thursday at 8:30.
Thursday at?
8:30, ma'am.
In the morning?
Yes. And I was hanging with my friends.
Which friends?
Aaron, Sergio, Yuli, Javier. And Mario came up to me. That's because when I got my car...
Mario came up to you and?
He asked me for my car, threateningly.
No, he didn't. He wasn't. Why would he threaten you? He was your friend.
Because that's why I didn't have my car, ma'am. That's why. When I got my car, that's when things changed.
When did you get your car?
I got it January, last year.
January?
Yes.
That's a long time ago. You've been to his house after you got your car. According to you. According to what you said to me before. You've been to his house since you got your car.
Sorry, ma'am. I misspoke. Not last year, this year.
You've still been to his house since you got the car. According to what you told me before. You said a few months ago. January's a long time ago.
I misspoke. I meant this year.
I know this year.
Okay.
So you're with your friends and?
And Mario came up to me and, like, said, give me your car keys, like, threateningly.
And?
And I gave them to him.
And he took your car alone?
No, there were 2 other people.
Where was Javier? Was he in the car?
No.
What about Sergio? Was Sergio in the car?
No.
So who got in the car with Mario?
A girl named Yuli and I don't know the other girl's name.
2 girls?
Yes.
Not you?
No.
Go.
And they took off And it was around 8:39 that Sergio ran up to me and said they got in an accident. And my friend Rodrigo drove me to the scene of the accident, and I saw the damage. And Darren...
Go!
Your Honor, he's lying. It was Thursday, March 30th, or 24th, I'm sorry, and Yulisa wanted to go get donuts.
Who wanted to go get donuts?
Yulisa. And I never asked him for the keys because he was the one that was driving to the donut shop. I was the passenger, she was the one in the back seat. We drove over there, we got the donuts, we're coming back to school. Andre's driving, his brakes don't work, he hits another car. He's panicking, he tells me that to switch seats with him. He wanted me to switch seats with him because he didn't want to get his car insurance. He didn't want to get anything with his mother. He didn't want to...
I want to see a police report.
I have a ticket right here stating that I didn't have a license because I took the fault for him. And it was a $400 ticket unless I got my license, which I did in less than a month, and I paid $25.
That's very nice. You told the police you were driving?
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
You're responsible for the accident. Then you're responsible for the accident, Mario. I actually don't know who was driving, but if you told the police, if you swore to the police that you were driving, you're responsible. You understand that? You lie, you got to tell it all the way through. And you paid a ticket, and you paid a fine, and you got your license. And your son is a fibber. Don't believe everything he tells you. Now, I want to see the police report.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
What are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but it was hers.
Just to say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see photographs?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
19-year-old Andre Johnson says his former classmate, Mario Ramirez, drove his car without permission and wrecked it.
Now, I want to see the police report.
There was no police report. There's a collision report that clearly states that Mario was the driver. I also have pictures of the car if you want to see it. And a letter from my insurance company saying that they denied it because Mario was not an insured driver on my car. Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of car was this?
The 2001 Toyota Camry.
Where is the car now?
It's stalled in my garage.
It's what?
It's in my driveway, I'm sorry. It's stalled. It doesn't work.
I'd like to see a photo of it. I'd like to see the estimate for the damage. There.
It's right here on the highlighted part right here.
Just for my own information, would you take a look and see the value of a 2001 Toyota Camry? An LE.
Your Honor, on May the 9th, I called Mario and I spoke to Mario, and he admitted to me that he did it and that he told me he would pay for it as soon as he got money.
$15.25. $15.25.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,525.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me, step out.
I don't know how she did that, but I was not driving at all.
Mario did admit to me that he took
work and
that, you know, he wrecked it.
His brakes didn't work and he hit the other car.
He's lying.
Didn't lie, telling the truth.
Choose your friends wisely.
Yes, because I took the fault for him.
Because you could say someone's your friend, and the next thing you know, they total your car.
Just tell the truth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCants versus McCrae. Step forward.
Edna McCants is suing her step-granddaughter, 23-year-old Kimberly McCrae, for unpaid rent, late fees, an unpaid loan, and rodent disposal fees.
Miss McCants, is this your step-granddaughter?
Yes.
Why don't you stand up? You're married to her grandfather?
No, her father is married to my daughter.
Got it. And you're sort of close to her, yes. I gather. And this is her sister.
That's correct.
And your granddaughter was staying in a condo that you have. Were you renting it? Mm-hmm. How much rent were you paying?
$787 a month.
And then you let your sister move in with you?
Yes.
When?
May 2014.
And you knew about that?
Yes.
And at some point, Miss McCrae needed some money, and you loaned her some money. How much money did she loan you?
$5,000.
And how much did you...
And then had asked for 1,000 of it back.
When did you pay back the $5,000, and why did you need the $5,000?
It was a loan on my tax return, and I paid her back 2 or 3 days after receiving the loan because I got my loan back faster. I had gotten my...
What did you need the money for?
Bills, certain things like that. I had asked for a smaller amount, but because I was getting my tax return, she offered the $5,000.
And what did you need the $1,000 back for?
To purchase a vehicle so that I could have a way of transporting myself and my children.
Okay. And she said, okay, here's the $1,000 back.
Yes.
Did you pay her back?
No.
Why not?
Things started happening.
Things. Okay. So you're not going to give me any convoluted story. Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
How many children do you have?
2.
Are you taking care of the children now?
Yes.
You work? No. That's it. When anybody hesitates when I say, do you work? And they go, oh. I always know there's a no there.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Edna McCann says step-granddaughter Kimberly McCrae owes for rent and late fees, a loan, and rodent disposal fees.
So you still owe her the $1,000?
I do not believe that I owe her the $1,000.
Okay. Now you're going to get into that. Tell me why.
I had originally moved into the condo because my sister, Sarah...
This is going to come back to the $1,000, right?
Yes.
Okay. You have to remember that you told me a whole different story in your answer about why you don't owe her the $1,000. So you probably don't remember what you told me, so now you're going to tell me another story. So I'm just going to put my pen down and listen to it. Why don't you owe her the $1,000?
In short, she was more lenient with me paying her back the $1,000 because I was having children and things like that.
Why were you having children if you needed money? I mean, that's not the way to not need money, have more children.
Accidents happen. I see it as a blessing rather than an accident.
Well, you said the word accident. I didn't say accident. You said accident.
It wasn't necessarily intentional, but I wasn't just going to...
How many children do you have?
2.
How old are you?
6 and 10 days.
No, how old are you?
23.
23. Okay. Are you taking care of the children now?
Yes.
You work? No, that's it. When anybody hesitates when I say, do you work? And they go, oh. I always know there's a no there.
Ma'am, I'm an independent contractor as a cleaning lady, and when I got pregnant, I had to take leave because of the chemicals that I use and the physical labor that I was put in. So currently I'm on leave from work, but yes, I am employed.
Do you get a paycheck? Then you're not working. Who do you live with other than your 2 children?
Justin Cook, my
Does he work?
significant. Yes.
Great. What kind of work does he do?
He's a general utility at Applebee's, the restaurant.
How long has he been there?
A few months, close to 6 months.
Great. So you owe the plaintiff $1,000. Fine. Now you can sit. Now, according to you, they owe for unpaid rent.
That's correct.
After your granddaughter moved out, you signed a lease with just the defendant or with the defendant and her mate?
I trusted the defendant.
So just her?
Right.
Do you have a copy of that lease?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Thank you. Did you move out in December of 2015?
I moved out in January of 2016.
January what?
I believe it was the 15th.
Monthly rent is $787?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you pay rent for January?
No, I did not.
Did you pay rent in December?
No, I did not. I was dealing with a pest problem.
Did you pay rent in November?
I believe so, yes.
How much?
$787.
Okay, so you didn't pay rent December and January,
Yes,
and you
ma'am.
moved out in January.
Yes, ma'am.
Stand up, please. How long?
7 years.
In the 7 years that you lived there, had you had a pest problem?
No.
How long did you live there along with Miss McCrae and her children and her mate?
Originally, it was just her and 1 child, and she lived there about a year, give or take a month or 2.
And when did you move out?
June of 2015.
Now, up until the time you moved out in June of 2015, and she was living there for that year, did you have a pest problem?
No.
So now you're telling me that the reason you stopped paying rent was because you had a pest problem?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of pest?
Rats.
Now, you have any written communication that you made with your landlord with regard to the rats?
No, I don't.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So you owe her so far $2,574 just for what you've accounted for with regard to the $1,000 loan and 2 months' rent.
I still do not believe that I owe her that money.
I don't care what you believe. It's irrelevant what you think you owe her. That's what you owe her. You owe her $1,000 for the loan that she was kind enough to make to you, and you owe her 2 months' rent. But you acknowledge that you didn't pay. I don't care about late fees. Requesting is rodent disposal fees. What are rodent disposal fees?
Is the rat that we finally caught. She was claiming that it wasn't hers, but everyone that I talked to said
No, you can't tell me what anybody else said.
I'm sorry. It was hers.
Just to
and
say,
it's
not
a
an
white
it,
rat.
not an it. Can I see the photographs?
There's a bucket. There's one. I don't know where. And this is where the rat came through the wall upstairs. No, there's the rat.
So it was one rat?
That's all that was in the house when she moved out. That is correct.
I had caught and disposed of some myself. I owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
What?
I said I had disposed of some myself already before I had moved out of the condo, and I had owned a mouse, but mice and rats are not the same.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,574. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Mr. Comier seems to think you scammed him.
He resold a vehicle that was not his.
You have the Mustang back?
I never saw the Mustang after he took it.
So why are we here?
Next Judge Judy.
I had a rat problem. I told her that I had a rat problem and that it needed to be taken care of.
Never, never, ever, never.
She said that she would take care of it.
I would have moved her and her son out, and I would have had it taken care of.
Nothing.
As soon as I knew it was there, I hired someone to get rid of the rat.
She hasn't really liked me specifically because my dad married her daughter.
No, and her dad and my daughter have been together for 23 years. I mean, that has nothing to do with it.
Well, my family's already pretty much broken up over the whole fact anyway, so.
Oh, it's gone. I have no relationship with her anymore.
I'm just gonna walk away from it, pay her her money.
She made it very clear.
Hope it just dies off.
I don't even know. She won't talk to me.
Time to go separate ways.
Did she evict you in October?
She sent me an eviction letter, yes.
A landlord tired of waiting for rent money.
And you received no money for November?
Correct.
What happened in November?
November, my money was stolen out of my account.
Now this tenant says she helped herself.
She's the only one that had my information. My money was gone. She's the only one that had my PIN, all my social, everything. She stole my money and then tried to evict me for it.
Judge Judy.
Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kadisha Fong is suing her former landlord, Juanita Klingensmith, for stolen money and unlawful eviction, discrimination, and harassment.
Order. All rise. Yeah, this case number 156 on the calendar, the matter of Fong versus Klingensmith.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Ms. Fong, let me see if I understand your complaint. You rented an apartment from the defendant. How many apartments do you have?
I have a sixplex, Your Honor.
That you own?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you first see the apartment?
August 27th.
Is that when you first met Miss Klingensmith?
Yes.
You liked the apartment?
It was okay.
So you decided to rent it, and the rent was how much a month?
$750.
And you were going to be living there with?
My daughter.
When did the lease start?
August 27th.
Is that when you moved in?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This is what your lawsuit is about. You claim that Miss Klingensmith stole money from your disability account.
Yes, ma'am.
Which was rent money, $750, and then evicted you for non-payment of rent. So you are suing her for that theft?
Yes.
As well as an illegal eviction?
Correct.
And take money out of her account. She's counterclaiming for some damage that was done to the property when you moved out. Okay. Was there any security deposit?
Yes, I gave her $400 security deposit.
Did you get that back?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So you moved in August. Did you pay any rent for August?
Yes, it was prorated.
Okay, so you paid August rent. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you paid September's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
On time?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
What about October?
It was late due to my disability.
How late?
The 13th, October 13th.
And rent was due on the 1st?
It was due on before, it was late before, yeah, it was due on the 1st, but late after the 3rd.
Late after the 3rd. Did she evict you in October?
She sent me an eviction letter, yes.
In October?
Yes, two of them.
On what date?
October the 6th and October the 7th.
So what did you do?
I ended up paying my rent on the 13th. I had my disability. I was coming from Sacramento to move to Reno, so I had to transfer over my disability payments, and it took the Social Security a minute to do that. And I told Ms. Klingsmith that when I moved in, she knew I got disability, and this would happen, you know, during.
You can't tell me what she
Okay,
what she knew. All she knew was you paid her rent in August, and you paid her rent on time in September, and in October you did not.
Right.
So after, I assume...
No, I didn't call her. I just called her. Well, yeah, I called her to pay the rent on the 13th.
On the 13th. So what did you do when you...
Oh, I tried to speak to her a couple of times to tell her that...
Not tried. You spoke to her.
I didn't speak to her at all.
You just paid your rent on the 13th.
Right. I tried to get a hold of Miss Klingsmith, and I have proof of that. I tried to give her a call. When she was in the parking lot of our complex, I tried to talk to her.
She paid your rent on the 13th?
Yes.
What happened in November?
November, my money was stolen out of my account in the amount of $713.
Just a second. So money was stolen out of your account in November?
Yes.
And the amount that was stolen was $713?
Yes.
And?
So when I called Ms. Klingsmith to pay my rent, when I checked my card, the money was gone. So she's the only one that had my information and my card, because September I gave her my debit card to take the rent off herself. She took the rent off September herself to the ATM machine. She's the only one that had my PIN, all my social, everything. My money was gone, and I have proof of that for our department. So money was gone. So she stole my money and then tried to evict me for it.
Ridiculous. She was going to steal your money. She would have stolen $750, not $713.
Well...
I mean, if she was going to take your money without your authorization, wouldn't she have taken everything that she was entitled to?
Well, I would think, I mean, why would she want me to, I don't know, maybe she didn't want nobody to know it was her.
I don't know. It's somebody.
She
in
did.
a case of...
She didn't call me at all for my rent in November, at all. And she usually calls or knocks on the door. She didn't do none of that.
You told me that the only notice that you got from her in October was that on the 6th she served you with an eviction notice.
She showed me, and that's October. We're talking about November, right?
I understand that. What do you mean she always? You only lived there since August. August you paid the rent. September you paid the rent on time. October you did not, and you said the first you heard from her was when she served you an eviction notice on October 6th.
Okay. In October, yes, I did hear from her. She knocked on my door and a few times in October.
You have no case against her. You didn't pay your rent in November. Somebody, probably in a case of identity theft, I have no idea.
Okay, Ms. Judge Judy, I have proof that I tried to pay my rent to her in November, even though my money was stole. I have proof of that.
Just tell me when.
Okay, I tried to pay...
I asked you for a date.
Okay, November the 4th, I believe. I tried to pay...
Just a second. Make sure you're giving me the right... You just told me you didn't have any money in your account because she had stolen
No, just because I didn't have any money... Okay, just because I didn't have any money in my account from that card, I have money back. You can look at my back pay from Social Security, and my dad wrote the check for October. So I do have money to pay my rent. Just because my money was stolen out of my card doesn't mean I don't have any money.
I want you to show me when you tendered her the rent in November.
Okay. Can I look on my phone, please?
Absolutely.
Okay. 11...
You're an excuse. I said...
November 12th.
You're late. You're late.
Your Honor, we went to court. That's why I'm late. We went to court for the eviction. She evicted me on the 4th. We went to court. The judge ordered me to pay $590 for that month of November. I have that right here from the judge. He ordered me to pay $590 for November. That was from the judge. That was on like the 22nd of November. So he ordered me to pay $590 for rent, and he ordered me to pay $300 starting January for the rest of my deposit. Ms. Klingsmith was there in court. When the judge ordered that, he told me I had a certain amount of time to pay it, right? I tried to pay Ms. Klingsmith 3 times, and I have proof of me texting her saying I have the rent, I have the rent. She ignored my calls.
You're talking about November 22nd? Is that the date you're talking about?
Yeah, because we got...
Is that the date that you're talking about? So just let me understand what you're saying to me. Don't talk fast.
Okay.
What you said to me was, I tried to give her rent on November the 4th. Now you're saying to me that you tried to tender her the rent after the judge ordered you on November 22nd to give her a certain amount of money.
Again, yes.
Your case is dismissed. You have no case against her. You have no case that she stole any money out of your account, and you didn't pay your rent on time in October, and you didn't pay your rent on time in November. You have a But for the fact that she sued you here, would you have counterclaimed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, you have $400 in security month of November.
Yes, ma'am.
And you received no money for November.
Correct.
Okay, fine. So now you're going to tell me what the damage is.
I have a list here.
Your Honor, she did not mention any damages in court.
Don't speak.
I have utility bills that she did not put the utilities in her name.
Just a minute. That's not in this counterclaim. In this counterclaim you have, I had to extensively clean the unit and repair several holes that were in the walls. She didn't pay her rent on time and made complaints about me to the Housing and Health Department. She would call my work claiming there was an emergency. She owes me for the damages, which the only thing that I have here in your countersuit are cleaning of the unit, which I will look at a bill if you have a cleaning bill.
Your Honor.
And the whole... Don't
Please.
speak. Cleaning bill and pictures of holes in the wall I will look at. Those are the only things. I don't care about your emotional distress. The only ones who don't speak. Those are the only things that are in your counterclaim.
This is what I filed when I filed the counterclaim.
I don't care what you filed. This is the only thing that's here. It's the only thing that's here. I'll show you. This is what you signed. You can read it.
Your Honor, please.
That's what you signed. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
We're done.
Your Honor,
Unless you have, just a second, unless you have a bill for the cleaning.
I have a bill for my maintenance gentleman.
Your Honor, please let me talk really quick.
I'm on her counterclaim. I'm not on your claim anymore. You have no claim for unlawful eviction, and you have no proof that she stole money
Your
out
Honor,
of your
I'm very nervous right now, like really nervous. If my daughter can tell you, I haven't told you everything. Like, I'm so nervous that I don't know what to do, and if you can let her tell you that I did try to pay my rent in November on time. She wouldn't answer my calls.
Listen to me.
She didn't answer. I have proof.
Listen to me.
I tried to pay before the 3rd. I tried to pay it.
Then I'm not listening to her. You show me proof that you tried to tender her payment.
She didn't answer my calls on purpose. She didn't answer my phone calls.
Your claim is dismissed. It's ridiculous. You want to show me bill from your maintenance person?
What about my couch that was left in there in the house?
You shouldn't have left it.
She locked me. She locked me out.
You shouldn't have left it.
Oh.
No. Counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I felt sorry for her. She was living in her car with her daughter and in a motel room.
In the beginning, I should have noticed how vindictive she is.
And I rented the place to her, trying to help her out.
The racist, she's on my purge list.
This is going to go downhill.
You have to watch the movie.
This is what I get for being nice and having a big heart.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Two versus Swanson. Step forward.
Aaron 2 is suing his ex-girlfriend, Christina Swanson, for unpaid loans and the return of his belongings.
Mr. Two, it is your claim that the defendant, who was a short-term girlfriend of yours, owes you for a small loan. In addition to the loan, she has 2 items of yours. One is a barbecue grill, and the other is a laptop. Ms. Swanson says that there was never a loan and that the 2 items that you refer to were gifts from you to her. The grill you bought for $20 at some garage sale, and the laptop was a used laptop that you gave her to use, which she is still using, along with her son. That's the case. You have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking. By the way, do you have a police report for that stalking?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you're really concerned about stalking and harassment, and you know that there are 2 things,
okay,
and you know that there are 2 things that he wants back, why wouldn't you give it to him?
Real cases, real people.
Ex-girlfriend Christina Swanson owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment.
Okay, Mr. Two, you met Miss Swanson, according to you, on an online dating site, and that was in March of this year. When and why the first loan?
The first loan was a credit card purchase for merchandise that she resells at parties and festivals.
Oh, tell me about it. When was it?
This is
No, don't give it to me.
okay.
It's
5/10/16.
So May, short while ago.
Uh-huh.
And how much was that for?
$205.63.
And what store was it from?
It's called FlashyBlinkyLights.com.
So it was bought over the internet?
No, she went in person, but...
No, she went in person.
Yes, she did.
Did you go with her?
No, I did not.
Did you give her your credit card?
Yes, I did.
Why?
I loved her, and we were in a relationship, and I cared about her well-being.
Right. Good. Next. Next. Next loan. Next loan.
It was not necessarily a loan to begin with.
I understand. Could we move on?
It was $300 that I gave her for savings. That,
tell me about it.
Like I said, it was $300 I gave her in cash that we were going to save to invest.
When?
May 14th. It's after I bought the property. To put it away, safekeeping, so that we would be able to invest in property that I purchased, yeah. It was just...
And then?
And
that
then,
was in May.
After she had it for about 3 weeks...
Okay, now we're into June.
Yes. We're in
June.
We were in a telephone call, and she had been working but hadn't received a paycheck.
Just on a telephone call?
Yes. And she...
Where was she living at the time?
At her current residence, and she lives behind the guy's house.
And you were living in your residence?
Yes.
So she called you?
And it kind of went like, she said that she didn't have any groceries. And I said, well, you know, you go ahead and use the money that you have put away for us. You know, when you get paid, go ahead and put the money back.
Good. And?
I mean, that's how the conversation went, you know?
What else?
Oh, you mean the property that I want back? That's it for the loans. I mean...
Go. Keep going.
The surface, I let her borrow when she was doing resumes and looking for work, and it's not something that I use.
When?
When did I let her borrow it? Like the exact date? It was probably May 10th, May 11th. It's hard for me to have those exact dates because a lot of that stuff was on the computer, which I don't have in my possession to reference.
So you're telling me that the laptop that you let her borrow was the only laptop computer?
The only one I own. I use my cell phone
for... That's either a yes or a no.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My son sent him a message explaining to him he could come and pick his items up with the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street.
Okay, can I see
He never came.
Can I see that?
He did not. Yes, you can.
See?
This is the text message that my son sent him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Aaron 2 says ex-girlfriend Christina Swanson owes for loans and the return of belongings. Christina is countersuing for stalking and harassment.
Now, do you have a computer at your home?
I have a desktop computer.
That's what I'm asking you. So you have a computer in your home. And you started to say that you use your iPhone for the other things that you don't have to have great memory for. I don't know.
Correct.
I don't use all those things. So in May, you let her borrow your laptop.
Yeah.
When did you purchase the laptop?
It was purchased November 27th, 2013, Your Honor.
Anything else? The grill.
Yes, the grill, even though I did buy it at a yard sale for a very good price, it wasn't in very good condition, and I had to refurbish it, and I took it over...
Listen to me.
Oh, yes.
I'm not interested.
Okay.
I'm not interested. It's over.
It is.
It's over. And the only thing that I have to ask you, Ms. Swanson, is as follows. I couldn't be less interested in the purchase of $205 that you made on his credit card that he gave you.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be less interested in the $300 that he gave you to hold on to, that you said I have to use. Could I use some of that $300? And he said, sure, pay it back when you can. And I don't get started with when can you. That's not what we do here in courts, any courts where I preside. But you have a counterclaim for harassment and stalking.
Yes, I do.
Two of the things that he wants, even though they're nonsense, are his grill that he paid nothing for at a yard sale and his laptop. Why don't you just give them back to him?
Well, because he gave them
No,
to
so
me.
what?
Yeah.
If you're really concerned about stalking and harassment, and you know that there are two things...
Okay.
And you know that there are two things that he wants back. Why wouldn't you give it to him?
Originally, Your Honor, I did say I would give him the things back after he did follow us. And he did...
Just a second. So why didn't you?
I gave him an opportunity. He never came.
What do you mean?
I sent him... my son sent him a message, on my phone, explaining his items up with the monitoring of the neighbor I have across the street.
Okay, can I see
He never came.
Can I see that?
He did not. Yes, you can.
I have a copy of those, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look. While she's looking.
This is the text message that my son sent him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Well, did you show up when you were supposed to?
When was I supposed to?
Next week we start at 6, so I'll be off at 4:30. Are you wanting to make the exchange at the sheriff's station? That works for me. If it would be easier, I can pick the things up at your place. Either way, I'm glad to settle this outside of court.
Did she respond?
Is there a response?
No, there wasn't.
Okay, your counterclaim for stalking and harassment is dismissed.
Your Honor.
I will put an order in that you and the company of a marshal may retrieve your grill and your laptop within 5 days of today. Do you understand?
I understand.
We're done.
Step out. Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I am definitely stalking.
When I told him I didn't want him to pay for things.
I sent her a message saying, hey, we're over. Let me get my things back. You'll never have to see me again.
He bought stuff when I said I didn't want it. My son even was there numerous times when I said, I don't want these things.
And she didn't comply. She threatened me with cops and stalking, and I said, well, I'll tell you what.
I absolutely will take my time to get to know somebody for sure.
If you don't give me a date and a time right now of when you're giving me my stuff, I'm filing small claims.
It was a rush. It was a rush.
I don't know. I think I'm a giving person, and some people are takers.
These items were given to me, and he doesn't deserve them back, to be honest with you.
We were fighting about nonsense, and, you know, she became standoffish. And
because he's aggressive and abusive verbally.
I mean, there's plenty of trips that I paid for and meals and everything.